How are we doing today? How's the audio? Is that acceptable? I don't know about the background music. The background music is at a level. I don't know if it's a good level. How wonderful are we feeling this Valentine's Day? If it is Valentine's Day, still Valentine's Day for you, it could have changed by now. For most people, it's going to be the 14th of February. Either you're doing decent or the audio is decent. Both are acceptable. Sound is good. Excellent. Excellent. And by sound is good, Daniel of course means everything is going fine in their life. Both decent. Excellent. You've had a good sound and Valentine's. Now, not everyone can get a date on Valentine's Day. Some of us potentially turn down dates. This is what happened to me. I'm not coping. So I just wanted a time when everyone can be together, so maybe even as a couple, people can watch me stream and talk about the attractive Primarchs in their male and female forms. That's going to be the general topic of today, a Valentine's smash or pass for the Primarchs. And as a good way to learn the lore, this is useful if you want to know more about any individual Primarch. And of course you will be playing along at home in the chat to say whether you find them nice, not nice, or if there's something awfully wrong with them. Oh, some of you are married and can't get out of Valentine's Day. You can always push it back to like the weekend. Say, hey, wouldn't it be great to do something when it's not this specific day? You don't need a date on Valentine's Day. It's hard enough to buy flowers for all the battle sisters. I have seen people put flowers on the base of their models. It looks good. It's nice. It's, beautiful. Roses. Roses work well for the sacred rose, the bloody rose. Roses are a good theme for battle sisters. Yeah. Now, where are people from? Do we have people that have already reached the 15th of February? It's February. It's February. It shouldn't be February. It feels like we're about halfway, maybe 2/3 through January at this point, not the middle of February. But that's a thing that just crops up on us. Time being weird like that and just passing without actually being noted. I dislike it. Time should be slower. We have England, we have other parts of the British Isles. If you live in the USA, the last month has been a very long month. Early afternoon in the United States East Coast. Finland. I like a Finland. Finland, it is cold. And also still the 14th, because it's only 7:30 here, so it's probably like 9:30. Yeah. I can get behind that. Still the same day. As long as we haven't got anyone who's in like Japan or Australia or New Zealand who would be on the 15th and be like, well, this doesn't apply to me. This was yesterday. I saw this stream already. That's how time works. We know that's how time works. I considered making a joke about the British World War II tank, known as the Valentine, but I thought that's a bit too niche, and I don't know how many of you play Flames of War. Flames of War is an interesting game where it's like World War II, and it has its own lore, which is essentially World War II. So you can play it and not know the lore or want to change the lore. I don't know if it's meant to have like an adapting lore that potentially the Italians could do really well. It's a Second World War game. And I know it's not a great tank. I prefer the Matilda, much better tank. So when I saw that, I think it's Victoria Miniatures, does a Leman Russ that's not a Leman Russ, it's very similar to a Leman Russ, called the Matilda, I thought, that's a nice tank. Maybe I should get one for my Genestealer cult, but I already have enough Leman Russes to at least fill the 50% quota for the Brood Brothers. The maximum quota. And you don't have to go all the way to the extent of that quota. You can do less. Less is permitted. And yes, the next big Genestealer cult video will be, as I announced in the collaboration I did with Auspex Tactics, a video on the Brood Brothers Auxilia. So we'll be looking at the good Genestealer cult units in that detachment, the good Brood Brother, Auxilia, friendly family friends, totally normal, legal, good people who are fighting for the revolution, not traitors, not enemies of the state, nice people, not hypnotized. Hypnotizing is a lie. We don't believe that. They are the good ones that bring the tanks and the big guns. Ooh, you're thinking of getting into Genestealer Cult for a 500-point game. The detachments you can do for that, all of them will work. At a small game, all of the detachments which have the really weird specializations will work quite well. You could go generic and Host of Ascension, a large block of neophytes, small block of, well, anything combat related will do quite well, and a small unit of acolytes with bombs. That's good. Or you could do a nice, say, Xenocreed, Metamorphs, Pure Strains. Pure Strains are optional, but work. Acolytes. Have them all just run forward at the enemy. Yeah. I like that. If the Benefictus... If my client is being brainwashed, why is the Benefictus brain so big? He's too smart to be mind-controlled. Exactly. Exactly. Other things you could do... You could have Brood Brothers Auxilia. I maybe wouldn't take a Leman Russ tank at 500 points. That would be a bit too many points, and be a bit mean. But you could have, say, Kazakin, and then whatever else you want from the Genestealer cult roster. Not the best choice. I think the Muscle Beach detachment may work quite well. Pure Strains, Aberrants, small number of Neophytes. You can start with almost all of your army in the middle of the board and go and smash the enemy turn 1. It'll be quite a short game, but 500-point games are quite short. That can work. I think that's probably the best one. Biosanctic Brood Surge. There's not many people play at 500 points. You can use the Combat Patrol missions. They're viable. I like small games generally. I played a few more 1,000-point games, and it's fun. You're not slogging it out over hours and hours and it not really coming to anything or coming to anything really quickly, and then you're like, well, we could play for another hour and a half, but we know how this is going to end. But there's not enough time for another game of 2,000 points. And I've talked about this before, I remember now. Yeah, if you had loads of bikes and you want to just play with the bikes, Outlander Claw, there's some bikes, they go do stuff. If you had one Tyrannid unit you wanted to throw out, do Final Day. Get a Lictor and some other Genestealer cult character leading whatever you want. Probably Pure Strains. Yeah, let's go with Pure Strains. The Pure Strains really shine in that. Yeah. Do you have any other tips for Final Day? Looking at the options that we have, the Lictors and Deathleaper are good. I like the Pure Strain Genestealer's early charge with the enhancement that gives you sustained hits, and then the stratagem that gives you full rerolls to wound, because you have devastating wounds if you're with a Patriarch. I don't think there's anything else other than the units I suggested. Gargoyles are great for just getting around the board, giving the buff. Metamorphs are useful. Acolytes are good. Neophytes are okay for holding objectives. I wouldn't really go for the big things. I don't think many people do in Final Day. Much as you want Tyrannid monsters, not many people go for the Tyrannid monsters. If you want to just do big things, then you're probably better off doing the Brood Brothers Auxilia and having a big tank. What you've missed is just us chatting for now. We do a bit of just chatting to get people in, and then maybe when we've got like around 50 people or it's been 20 minutes, then we'll switch over to the actual content that I promised. But it's always nice to have chatting for the start. Do I have other armies than Battle Sisters and Genestealer Cult? I have Death Watch and have made many videos on them. I also have generic Space Marines, mostly Firstborn stuff because I'm cool like that, and also old. I have Chaos Space Marines. They've been doing pretty well for me, like, in the background. Then, yes, most armies, I think. I have some Imperial Guard. I have Eldar and Dark Eldar. And I probably have more armies that I don't really do much for painting and playing, but they are there and I own them. Any orcs? I do have some orcs. They are often, hey, you want to play an army with me? Here's an army to borrow. It's a bunch of orcs, a lot of Gretchen from the 2nd edition starter set. A Squiggoth made out of a dinosaur. That was really cheap. Yeah, that was a good one. Being able to just take a dinosaur toy, make it a bit more squiggified, put a howdah on it, and there we go. Rin Penrose collab ever. I'll not ever say no, but the thing about Rin Penrose and I, that's maybe too much British in one package, and also we both look like we dress because we bought the same things from the same shop. Or I look like her brother, which I'm not. Apparently, maybe Rin gets that a lot. I'm guessing she gets that a lot. Yes, everyone she ever collabs with looks like we went to the same shop to buy things. I have included her in one of my videos about VTubers generally, but she would have to care about 40k. I don't know how normal I could be for however many hours I need to be for a collab to not talk about 40k. But it would be fun. And very British. I'm glad that we agreed that being British is a good thing in our favour. And I notice you didn't put a U in that favour, so you're probably not British, but you've accepted that it's a good thing. I'm okay with that. He has. Maybe I need to include more things there. I considered doing like what if someone who knows what they're talking about reacted to one of Bricky's videos, as many like 40k people do. No, as many VTubers do. VTubers react to that, but I would know what I'm talking about. So would it be interesting to see me say, yes, that is correct, or would it not? I don't know. Auspex Tactics is nice. He's a very polite man. He genuinely does stay up very late, which is, concerning. But yeah, he's a nice person from the interactions I've had with him. There's so many collabs I can do and have done. I've done like a collab every month. That's, I don't know, maybe too many collabs? I'm not sure. I have seen the new Angron model. Yeah, it might make a deal breaker in today's topic. Interesting thought. Okay. Ooh. Welcome. Welcome to the Legion. Yeah, concerning is the only possible reaction to Auspex's release schedule. Having thought about it and now done my own PowerPoint thing within his video, you can do it relatively quickly. That doesn't mean you should do it relatively quickly, but you can make videos very quickly in PowerPoint format. I like to be here expressing things and having stuff changing on the screen quickly, because I'm talking about this rule, now I'm talking about this rule. I don't just like having a line on it on the screen. But yeah, good. I'm glad it surprised people and was like, surprise! Hence it was being surprising. But that's what you want from a vampire jump scare. I could make it amusing. Yes, it's a thought. I'll have to put that on the list of contact him and see if he's like, yeah, you can do it, and it'll be critical. But it could be done. Then I would probably want to do that as a live stream rather than a thing in the background, because me sitting there going, that's interesting, without anyone in chat could be hard, because I know all of the things in Bricky's video. He's introducing 40k to everyone. I have been here longer than him. And I would remind him of that any time I got. Not that I'm mean, not that I'm being superior, but I know more of the rules for longer, which can be weird. When you're like, hey, let me introduce things to you, and I'm like, I'm older than you. I know more than you. That's fun. All right. Shall we get started on today's topic? And so. There are 20 Primarchs, well, sons of the Emperor of Mankind. Not all of them get classified as Primarchs. 18 of them are. All of them should come back to the 42nd millennium that we're in now. In theory, all of them could, despite some of them being very, very dead. the amount of times warp ghosts have appeared. Ferrus Manus has been walking along giving, like, advice to people, and some Iron Hands are like, you know, I think he's alive somewhere. Maybe if we built him a big iron suit, he could inhabit it. Like, okay, no. It's better that some of them just stay dead. Please just let some of them be dead, especially when their deaths were very meaningful for, like, character development for the others. Ferrus Manus dying is a big part of Fulgrim. Horus being dead is why the Horus Heresy is over. His clone was also killed by Abaddon. Because the Emperor's children abducted his body, cloned him, well, Fabius Bile cloned him. Then they were like, aha, we have our own Horus. And people were not happy with that, especially the Black Legion, who got their stuff together and did a big fight when they killed the clone Horus. And then we get the weird thing of the traitors are all depleted after the end of the Horus Heresy and the Scouring. They don't have access to much gene seed. What they do have gets corrupted by the warp. There's not many of them left. They fight each other a lot. And then we have 1,000 ships and teeming masses spewing out of the Eye of Terror. It's, that's an interesting one. Yeah, so many of them are dead. Sanguinius, you know, he did a big sacrifice. It's okay that he's dead. We can allow him to stay dead in the lore. He has a cool model in Horus Heresy. But there are some we can bring back. For these purposes, we're going to assume we can bring all of them back. So here is Smash or Pass Primarch Edition, presented by Christian Von Carmian. That is, of course, me. I will slightly get out of the way. Then we can see the whole thing as need be. Alright. Or I can say like that. No, go out the way. Because I have artwork. As you may have seen from the trailer, which hopefully you saw before this whole PowerPoint setup started. See, I've got the PowerPoints ready to go. You do one collab with Auspex Tactics and suddenly I'm PowerPoint pilled. So I have it ready. Yes. Alright. So we'll be going through them one at a time, naturally in Legion order. I've got a little speech for each of them of like why you should date me. And then we can decide if we're going to smash or pass. And what other aspects of them we might want to bring up. You know, if one of them was like, oh, do you remember when he massacred all of those civilians? I can say, I did not know that. Maybe that's a good reason not to date him. I also have female artwork versions if you want to do a, oh, I would never date a boy. Here's the girl Primarch version. Yeah. Alright. And we're going with 20, not 21. But yeah. Here's the first one. So we have Lionel Johnson. So I have the nice male artwork and some really good female artwork there. If you want to know who the artists are to look them up and say, that's some cool art, it's linked in the description. So Lionel Johnson likes long walks in the forest, likes men, likes big cats, likes commenting first on YouTube videos, and is happy to 1v1 anyone in any game. So the long walks in the forest are because Caliban was a big forest world, and he doesn't have a rule anymore, but 9th edition had a big thing of he can travel between areas by walking through this warp forest. So he could always travel around. I think it just gives him deep strike in this edition. He likes men. Why does he like men? If you've been around for about 2 years, one of the first videos I did was about Lionel Johnson being based on a Protestant guy who was, no, Catholic. Pretty sure he was Catholic. He was writing in like the 16th century. And then it was like, how is it possible for me to be a good person and also like dudes? Was the subtext. That was written in a piece of literature called The Dark Angel. So it's always been there that, yep, we're very much, this is the guy he's based on. We can go with that. His first edition artwork, he was a commander in the Imperial Guard, hence why the Leman Russ That is a totally different tank. That is not Lionel Johnson. I'm thinking of the other person, the one that's a wolf. Lionel Johnson was not in first edition. Never mind. Ah yes, The Rock was also the name of the gay bar in Nottingham way back when this sort of thing was first being dreamed up. So it makes sense. It very much makes sense. We can just disregard female Lionel Johnson for this one. You like the cats. Oh dear. He does like his big cats. Hence the lion. The commenting first is because it's the First Legion. And 1v1, he's very big on dueling. So his solution to any problem is duel me. When he's talking with, I can't remember, it's different people. They're like, hey, should we maybe kill all these civilians or let them all live? He's like, how about we do a duel to decide the answer? Big on dueling. Whenever the Dark Angels or their successors meet the Space Wolves and they're going to work together, then they have a duel just to recreate duels done between Lionel Johnson and Leman Russ. Big duelist. He's going to keep a lot of secrets, because that's a whole thing about the Dark Angels. What happened in his past? We don't know. What's he going to be like in the future? Well, we don't know his past, so we can't really judge. And is he the same 30k to 40k? I mean, he seems to have mellowed a bit, which is nice. But still, them secrets. Is he good at forgiving people? Because if I've understood the current lore of the Dark Angels, there are the Fallen, who were people who were coerced or manipulated or openly went with Luther to side against the Lionel Johnson, and so we had this little mini civil war within the Dark Angels Legion that the Dark Angels want to hide forever, which led to the destruction of the Rock at the end of the Horus Heresy. He seems to have forgiven those people, and when he's hunting down Fallen, he's like, yeah, they're one of the good ones, they didn't mean to do crimes, so they can be back with us. However, their whole lore within like the books and the story and the mini like agendas they have, it's all about, yeah, we need to find the Fallen, just keep hunting the Fallen. Are we going to bring them to our side? Are the people in black armor with the fancy robes that defend the leaders actually Fallen? They could be. But then are the Fallen bad guys or good guys? We don't know. They won't tell us. They don't seem to have fully updated the lore, just like half the lore. And it's been a year and I would love to know more, but we're never going to know more. And are we like hating Cypher? He's still a Chaos Space Marine. You can take him for the Chaos Space Marine army, not for the Dark Angels or the Imperial Guard, which you could do at one point. So Cypher, who brought back the Lion Sword, or is it a different sword? No, he has the Lion Sword. He might be wanting to bring it back. Cypher was a big part of Roboute Guilliman being resurrected, because it was him, Yvraine, and the leader of the Grey Knights. They worked together, and also Celestine. And also Greyfax was there because Celestine was there and they're a couple. Then we got Guilliman back. And then separately, we have Lionel Johnson back. Hello, Zerota. Welcome. Lionel Johnson has very much hood energy. He likes wearing the hoods. He has the big robes. He's definitely a like shirt open kind of guy. Because when you look at the Dark Angel robes, or dressing gown, however you want to think about it, it's always open at the top and then straight down at the bottom. So if you want to see someone with like their top exposed the whole time, that can work for us. I think we're ready to decide on Lionel Johnson. Tell me in the chat, are we doing a smash or are we doing a pass? Oh, he would have the big hoodies that you can steal. There would be a lot of them, I guess. Got a pass and we got a smash. We're getting a lot of smashes. More passes. Because we're judging them as a person. I think we'll go with smash. Pure communicator. Ooh, bit too brooding. Maybe like their physical stats and their body can make up for their lack of communication. What with the whole keeping secrets. I'm gonna go with smash on that one. Mhm. Okay, we'll have Lionel Johnson. We're swiping whichever way you swipe to say yes. That is the way we're swiping. Or at least I'm swiping. Okay, second one. Boom. We have the Second Legion, which doesn't have a Primarch. All records have been removed of the Primarch. Now, if I remember correctly, in the 90s, and we are stretching memory to the end of like that long millennium, the second millennium, the second and 11th legions were designed to be blank so that you could customize and make your own color legions. So if one particular color or lore didn't match an established chapter, you could say, oh, this is just from the 2nd Legion or the 11th Legion. And that was why there was deliberately no color scheme or style for them. But as with many things, that has been retconned multiple times over. It did mean also that there was no set thing of like the 2nd or 11th Legion. Understandably, but it meant that like pink with rainbow patterns was the canon for the 2nd Legion. Also, mustard yellow with blue highlights was the canon color for the 2nd Legion. So this is not someone we can have. This profile is either private or does not exist. We'll go with does not exist. There are plenty more people to check out. I think also the idea was a lot of the other Primarchs were afraid of Leman Russ because allegedly Leman Russ had destroyed this Primarch and then their legionnaires were folded into other legions like the Ultramarines, which is part of the reasons the Ultramarines are so big as a legion. The other one being they mostly sat on the sidelines for the Horus Heresy. So they didn't do as much fighting as, say, the Imperial Fist or the Raven Guard, who were already very depleted in number. Alright, you know who the third one is. We're going pink. It's Fulgrim. So what does Fulgrim have to say about themselves? And I know we've already had one person say very much smash. Or we can have a hell no. Alright. Fulgrim. I have a big snake, winky face. Fast AF, boy. Literally the most beautiful person you will ever see. And is in a band. Yeah, clones... Was Fulgrim ever cloned? I don't think Fulgrim was ever cloned. Or maybe they were... No, they cloned Ferrus Manus to try and get them to turn evil. But yeah, are we talking before Snake? Let's go with not their model that was released, say, on Christmas Day, or announced on Christmas Day 2024. Not that one with the weird snake body and the 4 limbs. So not the epic version. We'll go with the more human-looking 30k version. The one that looks a bit like this. We'll not go full demon, because you don't want to ever go full demon, otherwise that's a whole different talk. They're going to do it to excess. Imagine the criticism for not being perfect. Yeah, that's a good reason to pass. Okay. Fulgrim was cloned. Who cloned Fulgrim? Was it... I'm assuming it's Fabius Bile, who is known as the Clone Father. Probably them. You'll have to tell me who cloned them and what happened to that clone. Yeah, it was going to be Bile. Of course it's Bile. It's always Bile. Bile's the one that cloned Horus. It was in fact Fabius Bile this whole time. You mean the one character that represented the Emperor's children for so long? Oh, is Fulgrim maybe a fun ride but not to bring home? Interesting. Oh, yeah, what's a demonette to sing to you? Well, I think at that point, it's screaming music. That's going to be the kind of thing Fulgrim's into. Not the good kind of screaming music, just really loud noises, and they're like, this is so extra, this is so pure, this is what real magic is for. It's like, real magic, real music, which also will have warp magic in it. Remember that. So that may make it worse and also better. Your ears will bleed, but maybe you'll like it, and you don't want to like it. Oh, the clone was traded to Trazan. Fascinating. And what did Fabius Bile get in return? I have not read this novel. whichever novel it was. Possibly Clone Father, possibly War of the Spider. One of those two, I'm guessing. Fulgrim's going to have a strange taste in music. We know the Emperor's children love their weird noise, where it's just pure amplifier, and maybe some other parts. But not some other parts. We're not going to talk about transferring gene seed. That's not something we're thinking about. Yeah, I'm thinking that when it comes to dating Fulgrim, you would be an accessory and they would get bored of you very quickly. One of the good novels of Warhammer Fantasy was Sigvald. So Sigvald meets a bunch of other people, and Sigvald is so very good as a representation of Slaanesh. They do whatever to feel something and also not get bored. So it isn't all orgies and drinking. Sometimes they do like blood rituals and you think, oh, that's very Khorne, aren't you going to summon Khorne demons? And no, Slaanesh demons turn up. And he has this great advisor who he like loves and has been with him for ages and always gives good advice. And he just casually pushes him off the top of a tower to see him die, just to feel that horrible loss and the sacrifice, and knowing that he was the one that did it and there was no good reason and he didn't have to, and is just going through these emotions just to feel those emotions. So I think that's probably what would happen with Fulgrim. Very much the pretty boy or, you know, attractive girl that knows they're attractive and is going to use that. I get it, Joe. I get it. I still wanted to make the joke. Yeah, so it's Clone Father where he makes the clone of Fulgrim and trades it for uncorrupted 3rd Legion gene seed. Good. Cool. Good to know. Right, we're coming to Fulgrim. Smash or pass, chat? Oh, yeah. It's always going to be weird. Has been married. Terrible relationships. Probably a pass. Or we could smash but only once. Yeah, smash with a hammer. Pass for good reasons. Pre-corrupt. We're going for pre-corrupt. Well, maybe Lure Blade 30k level. That's where we'd think of it. Smash. We're going for smash. Okay. Good for you, chat. Good for you. I'm gonna go with pass. Yeah. You trust him to kill you in a poetic way or ascend to perfection. It's gonna be very Hellraiser. Yeah, it's gonna be very Hellraiser. And Shellfish allergy. Smash and run. Well, it doesn't matter how fast you run, Fulgrim is going to be faster. It's right there in the profile. Fast AF. So that's it for Fulgrim. The next one. Pertuarbo. It took far too long for me to get the colours of all these slides to match the Legion. But here we are. A shameful quick smash. Right, Pertuarbo. So, I love building and painting little models. We know this because it happens in the Horus Heresy. He's making like a mini Warhound Titan model, which he then smashes, I think it was Fulgrim's face into it. And he's like, how dare you make me angry? And he's get out and then slowly corrects the model and carefully rebuilds it and repaints all the damaged bits. So that's good. I will break down your emotional walls. Do we want that though? Maybe we have those emotional walls for a reason and don't want to be laid siege to, but you could. I'm pretty sure Pertuarbo is really big, like one of the biggest Primarchs. I know we've said, what if there was like the smaller ones, because we know that, why are the names blanking from my mind? They're going to be in the slideshow. I spent yesterday putting them in the slideshow. There are two that are smaller. One is Alpharius. One is the Wordbearers Legion leader, whose name I cannot remember right now, but it's going to come up. They are the smaller ones. We don't know who's the biggest, but Pertuarbo is considered pretty big and wears Terminate. Thank you, Lorgar. Thank you. It's good that we forget Yeah. So, and the final thing it says, don't piss me off, I have a long fuse, so he's hard to anger, but a big explosion, because if you get him angry, then you know about it. Vulkan was the biggest one, right. Okay, so Pertuarbo is pretty big, but not the biggest. And then what did Pertuarbo do in the Heresy? Because there was some things he did. He was there at the final siege because he wanted to prove he was better than Dorn. So there's a weird, like, I'm better than you thing going on. It's a lot of rivalry. Does that mean you can just make a nice sandwich or build the perfect sandwich? Is he then going to deconstruct it and say, no, you see, you'd use the wrong kind of bread. It would have been held together better if you used mustard instead of ketchup. Are we going to get that, like, the whole time? That is a very cool female avatar. I like that. I like that the grill is, the same. It's good artwork. Linked in the description if you want to know the credit for the author, creator, artist. We call them artists. People who do drawings. Yes. That's not the kind of sandwich. Pertuarbo always seemed to be also very angry. Very like, nothing is good enough for me or for you. Yes, there's going to be self-loathing and also general outwards loathing, which is also another kind of bad loathing. Pertuarbo might be a quick one then, and I don't mean them quick in that way. You know they would make it last, like months and months of siege warfare and grinding attrition. I think I'm ready to pick on Pertuarbo. What do you think, chat? Maybe I should put it as a little questiony poll. I'll put it as a questiony poll, then I can see who wants to do it. Big man-child in the lore. Interesting. Alright. Smash, pass. Pertuarbo. Peter Turbo. There we go. We have a poll. What are we going to go for? We're going for pass? Grinding, you say, yes. Most people going immediately for pass. Yeah, it's going to be not great. I think probably not great. I'm also agreeing with pass. You can have good taste there. I'll give it a second in case anyone else wants to vote. If they want to look up from their painting just to tap the screen or click the button on their mouse. 75% pass. I'm good with that. That's the end of that poll. We're gonna pass on Pertuarbo. So the next one, we're going for another fast as possible person. Jagatai Khan. Is it Jagatai Khan? I never know which way around you're meant to pronounce it. Is it like the German Y? I know that Khan comes from much further east than Germany. But yeah. This is Jagatai Khan. We'll go with Jagatai. Everyone's always painting during my live streams. Lots of people are painting. It's the thing to do when there's a VTuber on. You're like, you know what we're doing? We're going to do some painting and listen to someone talk about 40k. In this case, the lore. And I don't often do lore, but lore is fun. Building models. That's good. What models are you building, Zerota? I'm interested. People are already very certain on a smash. Alright. So, they have no car, but they have a motorbike. In fact, they live that motorbike life. They have very, very long hair that flows in the wind. They're not just another white boy or white girl. They hate criminals, specifically bike thieves and unlicensed pirates. Yeah, Reavers are viable now. Good job on the Reavers. Nice choice. We'll see how long they're viable for, but it's the first time that Space Marine Reavers have been viable in the meta. Yeah. Oh yes, it's very much Mongolian. He is like Khan from Mongolia with the horse riding, hence the bikes. We're very confident on Khan. I am also quite confident on Khan. But the hating criminals because during the Horus Heresy his bike was stolen. And I can't remember who stole his bike. It was one of the traitor Primarchs. This is towards the end of the Heresy. It was the fight on Luna. One of the fights on Luna, as in the moon. And hating the pirates is because allegedly at the moment he's gonna go and smash up the Dark Eldar. He's either in Comrag and is captured, or is searching for Comrag and is just killing Dark Eldar as he goes. It's a good thing to do. Pirates are bad, even if you have funny hook hands, which the Dark Eldar don't really go for. They're not like, ooh, we need to have hook hands and eye patches. The Archon model has an eye patch, or can be built with an eye patch. Otherwise, for more piratey themes, you need to go Dark Elf in Warhammer Fantasy. Or Cities of Sigmar, which has the Dark Elves, but not fully, but mostly, and their models have not been updated. Not that the new Old World models have really been updated. It's the same models, including metal models and resin models. And they brought back the big wagon. Empire wagon, what's it called? War wagon. It's called the War Wagon. It's called that one, which is one of the worst models to ever exist in Warhammer for building, because it is a box. It is a cart on top of a gurney thing with wheels. Some would say a wagon, led by two horses. The horses are plastic. The box wagon is metal, and you need to try and glue 5 bits of metal together perfectly and have it stick, and it just doesn't stick, and then you have 4 or 5 guys to go in the top, and they are metal as well, and you're trying to glue metal to metal with only their feet and not knock them over to like break the walls or knock other pieces over, and it's just awful. And I can't believe they brought it back in the original metal. A terrible choice. Oh. So, we're going with bikes. This is good bikes. We got jet bikes, bikes on the ground. I do like bikes. Outride is the current thing, and is it the 3rd captain of the White Scars that's currently on foot? And it's like, why is the person who loves bikes on foot? I suppose it's so you can put them in a transport, because they also like transport tactics. There's not really any of the Loyalist legions that do, like, oh yeah, we're fully mechanized. Salamanders just like special weapons, and Terminators, that's more their thing. No, none of them are like, yeah, we put everyone in rhinos and go in rhinos and land raiders. It's just something all of them can do. So probably best to have them with White Scars. Painting pure strains, very good. I do love a good pure strain. Yeah, the man-catcher bloke was good, but you can have a man-catcher rat. You have Throt the Unclean, who is a Skaven with 3 arms from Clan Moulder, has a big man-catcher. You also have then the Packmasters who have man-catchers. The man-catchers for them also look really cool, and aren't made of metal and don't fall over and break the whole war wagon. So people, when you can 3D print them, have 3D printed them. Otherwise people used to make them out of card and just stick a couple of guys in. That was the way to do it. Improvise, overcome. If you haven't got a 3D printer, adapt. Alright, I think we're pretty set on Khan. Wrong button. Let's go for a poll. Are we going to ride with Khan? Smash or pass? Poll is there. I'm thinking very much that almost all of you will go with yes. Oh yeah, we're riding that bike. I've never been on a motorbike. The few people I know who have motorbikes have all had really bad crashes. My science teacher got mildly injured. One of the people I used to work with got a crippling spine injury from a crash on a motorbike. And the other person I know was like, I thought I would die on a motorbike. I almost died on a motorbike. I don't want to ride a motorbike anymore. Perfect white teeth. They do have nice teeth. Save a bike, ride the car. Yes, the bike is no longer available. You must ride something else. Nearly dying is part of the biking experience. Less keen on that. Oh good, we have many bike riders. Okay. Right, we're gonna take them. Similar percentage of yes compared to what Pertuarbo had as no's. So we're pretty set on that. I agree. Smash. Unless I've missed any notes. I sometimes have them. Oh yeah, I have a bunch of notes that I maybe should have mentioned. They're trustworthy. Khan stays out of conflict because they were pretty middling until so far through the Horus Heresy when they were like, I've figured out now which side I'm on. I'm picking the good guys, in quotations, good guys. Hates the Dark Eldar, and I don't know if he ever got his bike back after it was stolen. I also don't know which Primarch stole his bike, but they were doing it for the lols. It was probably Alpharius. Alright. Leman Russ. Kind of the opposite to Lionel Johnson, very much so. So for Leman Russ, their demands are, you must be a dog person, you must love drinking, hello, I'm British, I can drink a lot of alcohol, my kidneys work great. If you think my scars are bad, you should see the other guy. Winter is the best season, and no nerds. We know how much they really hate Magnus, and bent them over their knee and smacked them until their spine broke. But if anyone likes dressing up as a wolf, yeah, it's probably gonna be the way to go. The Space Wolves. You like Russ in theory, don't think we get one well in practice. Is Leman Russ house trained? I wouldn't put a Leman Russ battle tank in your house. You wouldn't have much of a house left. Liking winter is good. The drinking is okay. You can drink, you can not drink, either way. Being a dog person, I can tolerate dogs. Mostly fine with dogs. I never hate a dog. Dogs are like, yep, that sure is an animal that apparently I'm looking after for a bit. Can Biosanctic Brood Surge play into Final Day, Tyranids for the rest of the points? Well, you can't have Biosanctic Brood Surge detachment and Final Day, because Final Day is also the detachment. So it'd be one or the other. You can have Aberrants in the Final Day. That would work. And Tyranids are limited to 50% of your points. So it's like, not gonna work. Not gonna work. Dragon Slayer is going to pass for Leman Russ because you're a nerd and value the planet you live on. That's great to hear. More people should value the planet they live on. Thank you, 40k Dad. I appreciate that. I hope your children, which I assume you have, really appreciate you. And the stuff you do for like making models for them, painting models for them, playing with them. It's good to get your children into 40k. It's not a cult, but my dad did get me into 40k. But it's not a cult. It's a hereditary illness. That's what we think 40k is. And it spreads on the internet. Thank you for liking my humor. I keep trying to be funny. But I just have one style of humor. Or maybe a couple of styles of humor. The videos where I'm not as funny are the ones that don't do as well. Generally. Unless it's just rules. Then I also have jokes. Let's stop deconstructing me and deconstruct this woman, person, man, wolf, dog creature. Yeah, I think Russ has a fragile ego. Or maybe they would laugh it off. I don't know. Maybe you could joke with them. Or perhaps they'd be like, how very dare you? Or was that a joke at my expense that went over my head? Yeah, you're going to get noise complaints, you're going to get the police round because they just raised their voice quite a lot and are very loud and shouty and everything sounds violent. They like doing their own thing. They're like, oh, I'm not bothered what everyone else is doing. They're splitting up their legion into chapters. Well, I'm not going to do that. I want to keep my big great companies. Like, okay. Interesting choice. You're definitely not planning a big heresy. But you could have. What's Leman Russ doing these days? They're off in the warp, probably? Did they live with the 13th Company? A 13th Great Company? Or were they going to find the 13th Great Company? I can't remember which way around it was. But the 13th Great Company came back at the very end of the 41st millennium to help against the 13th Black Crusade. And now they're just kind of hanging out. And it's weird. But they're all wolfen and wolfified, which we don't like so much. I mean, you know I'm gonna pass, because it's werewolves, and I'm a vampire, and they don't get on, as demonstrated by the many, many videos I've done explaining it. And there are no wolves on Fenris, of course not, of course not. Ah, he's in the warp looking for some fruit from a tree that can restore the Emperor. I don't know if you're making that up, but that sounds like 30k lore, so I'll believe it. When Leman Russ was fighting Horus and got beaten, then he was basically like, yeah, I'm out for the rest of this whole heresy thing. He was done. He maybe has too fragile an ego. It's like, oh yeah, there's a big thing there. Yeah, he gets on okay with some of the brothers, but most of them not. They are scared of him and call him the Executioner because it is implied in the background that he was there for the destruction of the 2nd or 11th Legion Primarchs and the dissolution of their legions into perhaps his legion and also the Ultramarines. Okay, Leman Russ. Let's do the poll. Leman Russ. Yes, Leman Russ was a Imperial Guard commander in the first edition of 40k, hence why the Leman Russ is a Imperial Guard thing. They started thinking of it in first edition, then for second edition it was like, yeah, here is the tank for the Imperial Guard. And also at the time, in second edition, the Space Wolves could use the Leman Russ tanks. And the first really big fight in the second edition battle report was Space Marines against Imperial Guard fielding as many Predators, Leman Russ tanks, Chimeras, Hellhounds, and Land Raiders as they possibly could. And everyone was like, whoa, this is amazing, this is like 20,000 points, and there's like 15 tanks and some other things. Points were a lot higher at the time. Points were better at the time. 10th edition has the lowest points per model ratio of any edition. 10 points per, like, a model is really low. I mean, 6 points for a guardsman, yeah, okay, it's maybe not as bad as, say, 6th edition, when they were 5 points. But, going off the size of an army, in 6th edition, you would then add war gear, like bolt pistols, plasma pistols, a grenade launcher in the squad. That would cost points. So then you had like, it isn't actually a 60-point unit, it's more like an 85-point unit or higher. Ooh, finishing Deathwatch, cool. Yeah, 130 points for 5-1 wound models, but they can all have Haywire Blasters and Dark Lancers, which tends to be what people go for. Then you need to buy lots of them. Otherwise you're like, just pretend the Splinter Cannon is a Haywire Cannon, don't even think about it. Because you have to pay for a generic set of war gear, because it's power level in 10th edition, which people played with in 8th and 9th edition occasionally. If you wanted a quick game, you just went with power level. Like, what are we doing? 50 power? Great, let's go. Now it's enforced in the points, and people are not keen on it, but rumblings have been, for 11th edition, they will be bringing back points per model, and maybe in more balanced patches, especially towards the end of 10th edition, they'll say, okay, there are some weapons that cost additional points. Ooh, Heat Lancers. I have Heat Lancers on my Scourges? Reaver Jet Bikes. Yeah, I think everyone wants War Gear points back. It's nice to have the option for, here's a quick army list, it's all done, but it's annoying when you're like, I have 40 points left. That's not enough for a unit. I'm maxed out on enhancements. I'm going to have to rejig this whole list because I can't just put more war gear on people. And it was nice to occasionally say, okay, there we go, that's now a las cannon. Sorted. Done. I have at least 2 videos, if not 3 videos on points. So if you search my channel for Warhammer 40k points, there are several things that will come up. We have the points for the new Imperial Guard Codex and Eldar Codex. We're just waiting on Legends rules actually being updated. Yeah. Most things should be equivalents, but they're not. We know they're not. Heavy bolter, yeah, that's good against anti-infantry. Las cannon, that's good against anti-tank. But you probably have a preference for the las cannon, and when it comes to other guns, like, wow, you could have a las pistol or a plasma pistol, and they're equal points. Gee, I wonder which one I'm going to pick. If there's a minor difference, like bolt pistol, las pistol, it's fine. The ways that, like, toughness has been stretched, then, yeah, okay, you're wounding an orc on a 5 regardless. And higher. Okay, I'll stop talking about points and we'll get back on topic. For number 7. They are the 6th Legion, aren't they? Yeah, that looks like a 7. Rogal Dorn. We knew that Rogal Dorn was the 7th one because, of course, we have memorized all of the legions, their colours, their numbers. We know all of the legions perfectly. So Rogal Dorn, their profile reads, need a hand with building, is a construction site manager, may have undiagnosed autism, prefers to stay in instead of going out because building forts is their whole thing. Pillow forts, you could do pillow forts. That is quite a jawline, to be sure, yeah. They do good admin, that is useful. Not quite as good admin as Guilliman, but some good admin. You don't like point? I would like it if they went back to having power level and points. However, if we did that, then people would say, oh, we're not playing with power level. Forget that. We're going with points, and then everyone would have to do points. So it's maybe one of those things that I could do a poll about. Let me get a scrap of paper. Poll. Points or power? Yep. All right. Could help with Lego. Oh, he's going to have such a big Lego addiction. Like, look at this. It's a Super Star Destroyer. Built in 1-to-1 scale. Because he could do that. And they would still be smaller than, like, a cruiser of the Imperial fleet. Because we know that Star Wars is much smaller than 40k. I also recently found out that in Episode 6, Return of the Jedi, almost all of the pilots that you see in that fight are played by women, then audio dubbed over with male voices. Because you can't really tell that they're men or women because they're wearing the funny aviator headgear. But yeah, that's all like ADR stuff. Digital voice, AV... One of them. Audio replacement. ADR? One of them's going to end up being ADD. Yeah, so that was a minor interesting thing. There you learnt a thing about Star Wars Episode 6. And you'll watch it back and you're like, they were women. Right, Rogal Dorn. So, yeah, Emperor-sized bad daddy issues. Rogal Dorn was very much no matter what, I will be obedient to my dad. When Horus became War Master, Rogal Dorn was like, I am all for this because the Emperor said. Yeah. Most of the Rohirrim in Return of the King are female actors. Didn't know that most of them were. That's cool. Oh, of course they were. Come on. How many people own horses? How many of those people are horse girls? Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. So, Eowyn, faking being a man, is like, babe, why are you doing that? Most of us are women. That's just odd. Yeah, okay. Cool. Good to know. Like Rogal Dorn being stern and distant, that's hot, but also, are they going to actually listen? No mustache. Well, I can understand the female version not having a mustache. But the male version, I don't know if he's meant to have a mustache. He can have a mustache. Fan art is yours to make as you wish. Games Workshop has made some fan art, is maybe the better way of thinking of the canon material. Because there are so many different drawings and interpretations, eventually you just go, it doesn't matter. Something like that. And then they make a model and it's like, yeah, that's the canon version, but you could still paint on a mustache or something. The enemy is coming, kill them all. Okay, that's a good quote. I like the Imperial Fists. It's one of the best legions. Problem is painting yellow. We do not like painting yellow. Rogal Dorn's going to be stable, like mentally and emotionally. Reliable, like rock. When I was ever like having trouble in Age of Empires, I would default to build walls, build towers, build more towers towards the enemy, and then build up an army as a backup. I like games where I can sit back and shoot the enemy. That always seems like fun when there's tides of enemies coming at you and you're like, my fortress will hold, right? I liked being the defender in the siege rather than the attacker most of the time. When it came to Warhammer Fantasy, I had the Warhammer Siege add-on book, which was really cool. And you could do things like starve out the enemy. But now I'm remembering, maybe I was the defender more times than the attacker. Oh, that's interesting. I'll have to think about it a lot. Yeah, Dorn was the pain glove boy. So that was like oh, you've been bad, time in the pain glove, which is a bodysuit that like electrifies you and causes you agony. It's the this is what birthing pains are like, clamps, where you put them on your stomach and they vibrate and cause you to be ill to like stimulate the feeling of giving birth. Yeah, we're forgetting the pain glove. He might be not as vanilla as we all expect. That's an interesting one. Yeah, that's for some people, but not for others. Would it be for Fulgrim? Perhaps. Perhaps it would be. Okay, yeah, but the glove changes the vote. We're not going to ask Maiko which way it changes it to. We'll just accept that your vote has been changed. The right level of daddy. Okay, we'll do a vote on that. Then I don't have to say the word daddy so many times. Rogal Dorn. Smash. Pass. Let's see what we get. Oh, that went to 100% smash very quickly. Worryingly quickly. We're pretty high on the smash. You know, not everyone's kink is everyone else's kink, and it doesn't have to be. It's fine to be different. This is an okay topic for Valentine's Day. Please do not demonetize this, YouTube. Never mind. Never mind. Smash is good. I was also thinking Smash. Imperial Fists are my go-to. I have an Imperial Fist just that I play as Imperial Fists chapter or Successor chapter, which tends to be, yeah, we'll just go with Imperial Fist rules because they were so easy and better, and sometimes staying still and shooting the enemy is a good thing. I always lacked like anti-tank stuff, so having the anti-tank stuff that I did have be better because of Imperial Fists was a big boost. And it's one of the things with detachments. People have been complaining like, oh, Space Marines are so generic. They have their different detachments, but we should have a Salamanders thing, and we should have an Ultramarines thing, and a bonus for this and that detachment, well, chapter, so they get their own things and more detachments, like how the Blood Angels have 3, and how the Dark Angels have 3. You could do that, but I like the way that the Codex Astartes ones that follow the Codex Astartes, like the Imperial Fists, can do any of the detachments. I have a lot of bikes and transports, which I wasn't planning on when I got the army, but it's a thing that happened. I got those models. So I like the Gladius Task Force because it makes my fast things faster, my gun things more faster and gun, and I can fall back and shoot and charge, which I like to do when I'm fighting all of the orcs that usually come at me, or anything else that's charging me. Tyranids, whatever it is. And it's called the Tactical Doctrine, and I like the Tactical Marine, so it's all good. I think they were, I don't know if they were better in the Index, when they could just always fall back and shoot and charge. Now they have the split themselves into 2 units for free. Both would have been nice. And they do have a good mix of weapons, which I like. We're going with Smash for Rogal Dorn. I appreciate a Smash on Rogal Dorn. It's a Smash. Okay. Then we get the Night Lords, the 8th Legion. Oh, he's pretty young looking, okay. Yeah, it's the white hair. The white hair always makes Dorn look older than he actually is. He's going to be the same age as the other Primarchs. But yes. Right, Konrad Curze. You can't fix me, but I can make you worse. Also, you wouldn't be able to understand me. I am only active at night. Thinks Batman is an underrated character, but this would probably be Batman if they killed people. Because the final point, I believe the justice system needs reform to be 100% punitive. So that's where you do punishment only. There's no chance of restorative justice, where the person becomes a better person and doesn't do crime anymore. Konrad Curze is like, no, death. Everything deserves death. You stole bread, death. You insulted someone, death. Everything death. Horrible death. And yeah, you're going to be flayed and put up, and then everyone's scared of you. Yeah, that's fun. That's fun. Run the other way, generally scary. It's probably going to be scary. Tea and cake, or death. Yes. Cake or death. Would you like cake or death? Oh, I'll have cake, please. Ah, very well. Yes, I shouldn't have given the other option. I suppose you can have cake and no death. Okay, what about you? Do you want cake or death? Oh, I'll have cake. Ah, we're out of cake. Ah, well, I still want cake. Ah, okay, you can choose cake even if there's no cake. No death for you. Death by snoo snoo. I wouldn't really want it. It would be public snoo snoo, and it would be to everyone so that they can see how horrible it is. Just so everyone else is like, yeah, this is why you don't mess with Konrad Curze, who lurks around places, killing people. Yeah, I don't think you'd want to be in the room. The only person that was in the room with him was the assassin that killed him, who was then killed shortly after in the Night Lords trilogy books. So, Konrad Curze is definitely dead, shouldn't come back. They had it in the lore before those books by, who wrote the books? Who wrote the Night Haunter books? Don't remember. It's on the tip of my tongue, it always is. I hate doing the live streams and I forget the name and I can't look up the name because I'm doing the live streams. Yes. Then it was always left ambiguous, like, yes, it was a picked feed that cut out just before the final blow was struck, so potentially Konrad Curze could still be alive, but he's not. He's definitely dead. His whole thing was, I have become evil and monstrous, I'm going to keep doing evil and monstrous things until the Emperor comes and kills me, because that will prove I was right, and people who do monstrous things should be 100% punitively killed. It's like, okay, you've proved the Imperium is bad, and also you're a reason it's bad, and you could have made it better, and Sanguinius kept saying, hey, maybe make it better, and you do have a choice, and just because you foresee something doesn't mean it's actually going to happen. But Konrad Curze was like, nope, fate is written, must be evil, I just have to slaughter these children. It's the only thing I can do. I've seen it, it's written, must do it. I enjoy the work I'm doing, might as well, but oh dear, all this child flaying I'm doing. Yeah, jaywalking is a weird one, because that is a crime of where you cross the road where you're not meant to cross the road, and also has like a weird old racial insult, like against Italians or Romani people. It's an odd one. We don't have that in the UK. You can cross the road anywhere. Don't get hit. Just cross the road wherever you want. And there are pelican crossings and pedestrian crossings, so cars have to stop at those places. Then you're not risking it. Oh look, that child took some sweets. Yep, they're never going to learn in the future. If they're evil when they're 3, they're evil forever. Time to destroy the child. Yeah, well, we've done 7. We've done 7 already. This is the 8th one. Yeah, you can see the numbers. This is the 8th Legion. Jaywalking is propaganda for cars. Probably. All of the American cities are built for the convenience of cars. People second or third. Which seems really weird to me. Yes. Yep, 3-year-olds are evil forever. Alright, we know how Konrad feels about crime. It's similar to Khan, but way more extreme in the punishment side. So let's go with another poll. Konrad Curze. It was probably one of the dark Batman things, like, what if Batman was also the Joker? That he would then be like, I like the Batman. I appreciate the Batman. It's the finding the crime, being the world's greatest detective, allegedly. As Batman supposedly is. But he couldn't figure out how to use all that money he has to stop crime from happening. He just has to go down and punch the poor people. I don't think he does much like, oh, we must take down Lex Luthor. Same universe. They have met. Or he's like, oh, damn, all these rich people. They're like, no. They're gonna go temporarily to jail if they go to jail at all. It's like, well, nothing I can do there as one of the most incredibly rich and influential people in the city, country, world. Yeah. He would paint over the pedestrian crossings. A worrying number of you are picking to smash. But okay. It's the highest pass... Oh yes, it is the highest pass rate. But it's still a worrying number of people saying smash. It might be the aesthetic. If you like the aesthetic, I may be able to introduce you to the Raven Guard a bit later on. They're a maybe better choice. Okay, stop clicking smash. We're going with pass. Konrad is a pass. Kinda pretty, yes. But terrible personality and beliefs. Here's someone far more beautiful. The 9th Legion of the Blood Angels with Sanguinius. So, Sanguinius's profile. I hope everyone gets along. Hopes to meet nice people. My grandma calls me an angel. Always travels home for the holidays and occasionally has fits of depression. Very sad. So the travelling home for the holidays is because Sanguinius did whatever he could to get back to Terra. When Lionel Johnson and Guilliman were like, we're going to have Terra 2, the sequel to the Imperium. We're going to make Sanguinius the Emperor. Sanguinius was like, no, I don't want that. There's probably still the Emperor and Terra, and we should get back there and fix that stuff. So the Blood Angels played a very big part of the final defense of Terra, alongside the Imperial Fists. And also, Sanguinius was the one that did the thing with the armor to make sure that Horus was going to die. We're thinking Mary? I mean, Mary is a good choice. Really nice person, really cares about the family, like the kids. When they were offered, like, oh, okay, there's going to be this curse, this black rage. You're going to start feeling it. They're going to feel it as well. If you sacrifice yourself, then they will get rid of that. They won't have that anymore. And Sanguinius is like, I'm going to do it. I'm absolutely going to do it. It's demons making the contract, but hey, if it helps my sons, all for the better. And then a Blood Angels apothecary got in the way and was like, no, I'm sacrificing myself, actually. So it's very inspirational. Drinks blood, is a vampire. These are all positives, by the way. Blood Angels being the coolest non-compliant legion. Better than Dark Angels, yes. Better than Space Wolves, yes. Are those all the non-compliant ones? I know we have, like, the Black Templars, but they're not one of the legions. Just give me the list. Where's the list? It's giving me full lore breakdowns. I don't want that. Okay. Legions, Loyalist. There's always one that I'm going to forget. There we go, one image. Right, White Scars. They're compliant. The Iron Warriors, compliant. Ultramarines, very compliant. Yeah, okay. Okay, yeah, of the non-compliant chapters, of which there are 3, they are the coolest. I'll give you that one. Definitely. Back to me. Alright. Yeah, the Dark Angel, we did a whole thing with the Dark Angels, whether the secrecy thing, and it's like, okay, they are hunting the Fallen, but when they get the Fallen, are they now friends with the Fallen? Because Lionel Johnson has forgiven everyone? Or not? We were just looking at the Loyalist ones, not the Codex non-compliant ones. Because you can't be Codex non-compliant. You can't be Codex compliant and a traitor. Unless you're a traitor chapter, but then it gets a bit weird. Yeah, the Dark Angels feel like a lot of memes, whereas Blood Angels, they do have their own memes. They have the Black Rage meme. That's where, I have the Black Rage, fellow Sanguinius. As do I, fellow Sanguinius. Do you think that that Land Raider is looking particularly Horus-shaped? Or they're grabbing like a Gretchen, being like, Horus, why is they're smashing its head in? Horus, how could you betray us like this? It's just little Gretchen getting pulped on the ground. No, doesn't happen. When they've been doing lore things in the past and they've explained how the Black Rage takes over people, they'd only see like the enemy commander as Horus. So like an Orc war boss, a traitor leader. The Orcs and the Gretchen in the way would be seen as traitor marines to be killed. So Horus is never lictor shaped. That would just be a weird demon creature. But it's funnier in the memes. So they do a lot with the memes of like the Black Rage, which seems to affect people far too often, considering like sometimes the meta of Blood Angel armies, which at the moment are not taking many of the Death Company. In fact, it's almost no Blood Angels related units. You take the Blood Angels attachment, lots of jump units, and then you get the +1 to wound because, hey, you're being Codex compliant today. Apparently. Yeah. So the occasional fits of depression is meant to represent the Black Rage. And also there's the Red Thirst. They are different things. The Red Thirst is like, I want to drink some blood and kill things, but that's manageable. Black Rage is, okay, we're too far gone. We are now going down crazy path and reliving the final moments of Sanguinius. Don't know how that ends other than in madness if they don't get killed in the battlefield. So the idea is like, okay, we'll have this person die in the battlefield. Transport them to the nearest war zone as soon as possible. But it's Space Marines. They're always on their way to a war zone or just back from a war zone. When they recoup and recruit people, it's only a small number of them that go. They get more troops. They train up the troops to be scouts. Then they join the companies. Yeah, there's no way that the traitor legions are going to be Codex compliant. Because they didn't split their... I mean, they did split into war bands, but that's just so you can play 40k. At least the early 40k. Now it's like, big 40k, where you have Primarchs back, which was maybe a mistake. But the whole setting should be like, the angels are dead, the gods are gone, we are all that's left. You don't like vampires, bees, known as B? I think you may be in the wrong place. Vampires are very real. Yeah, Red Thirst is cool. Black Rage, less cool. It's a bit overdone, at least on the tabletop. Get the Alpharius model and proxy as Guilliman. That's a good choice. Accept present company. That's alright, you can stay, BBBs. You can stay. Alright, what do we think about Sanguinius? Let's put that on the poll. Sanguinius, with the wonderful hair, the nice personality, the nice voice. Smash, pass, third option. These can of course be combined because pass is its own thing. It's like with voting where you have two political parties that are very similar. You get the spoiler effect where people who would have voted for the other one maybe don't. So you get like 30% for one party that's very similar to second party who also got 30%. And then the actual winner is Party C that does triangles because they're weird, and it's like, oh, okay, yeah, that's a thing with voting. Voting systems could be improved. I'm not going to talk about voting systems. People do voting differently across the world. Okay, Mary went very high. So we're currently on 87% of marry or smash. I can get with that. Yep, Sanguinius is one to marry. Vampire aesthetic, very beautiful, nice, looks out for their friends, good family relations as best he can. There was no one that Sanguinius didn't get it on with. Ripped the nails out of the head of Angron. Sort of temporarily fixed him by exploding his head and sending him back to the warp. Highest smash rate so far? Absolutely. Oh, we picked right with this one. Very good. We have a marriage. Sanguinius it is. Alright. So now we have the 10th Legion. Ferrus Manus. So blacksmiths is a hobby. I have a prosthetic hand, but I don't want to make it my whole thing. I am very trusting. Please don't take advantage of that. And don't let me down, I have very high expectations. So blacksmithing as a hobby is something that quite a lot of the Primarchs do. They forge their own weapons. Fulgrim does it. Vulkan does it. I'm sure that more of them, the Imperial Fists, are definitely going to do it. To forge their own Imperial Fists. So blacksmithing is a very common thing. You need to be okay with them doing blacksmithing. The prosthetic hand, but it's not a big deal. They have an iron hand. The Legion is called the Iron Hands. Ferrus Manus in Latin means iron hand. It's puns on puns that got too punny, so I had to make a joke about it. Very trusting, don't take advantage of it. It's, a lot of the people is like, okay, yeah, I absolutely trust Fulgrim. I absolutely trust Horus. I absolutely trust even Angron for a bit. Ah, dear. Yeah, for all he seemed like, oh, okay, we're going to be level-headed. No, we're not. We're not. He's not the smartest person or the best at understanding things. But the, having high expectations, he is really critical of, his troops. I think even more so than, Mortarion, who was like, yeah, we're going to do this horrible thing and go to this horrible war zone. I don't expect you to survive, but it's cool if you do. That is the generic attitude of Ferrus Manus. You are weak. The flesh is weak. Become strong. Become like me. Get better. You are not worthy. So, he's mean, kind of rude. Okay. I don't like mean. I mean, that's a scowl. That's definitely a scowl. And the scars could be... I don't know about the scar-related artwork. It could work. But I think that'd be something that they would cover over. Or would they express the scars but then make them better by bolting on metal to their head and be like, look at me, I made my skull better. That sounds like a very Iron Hands thing to do. Judgmental. I'm pretty sure that Ferrus Manus would be judgmental. I got this for you. Ah, it's insufficient as a gift. Become like me except for the Iron Hand thing. That's what oh dear. No, we can't have Ferrus Manus as an awkward tsundere. Scars are pretty cool. That's why we like the white scars and Khan. But scars that make you stronger, that's like the whole Japanese... Let's fix this bowl with gold. So it's like, yeah, there's cracks, but they can be part of it and make it better. Yeah, it's the it's another matter of the it's self-loathing and also otherwise outward loathing. Critical of everyone, including himself. So you're going to be like, no, you're great. And then he's not going to believe you because you're not great. What perspective have you got? So it's like, there it is, Misfit. Someone had to make the joke. I didn't put that joke in this. I thought, no, we've had a Dorn joke where he needs to lend a hand. But you went there. You went there. Oh, yeah, okay. As one of Fulgrim's hangers-on, not great. That is going to be very, like, catty or like, oh yeah, you go, girl. Ferrus Manus is going to be like one of those people you see in the teen drama movies that's flanking the main bully girl. Yeah, so it's like, let's go with Mean Girls as an example. You are very welcome, Jack. Thank you for supporting me through February and getting that to 100%. That is very much appreciated. I hope you have great fun with the Battle Sisters. And once I've done the more Genestealer Occult related things, we'll be getting back to Battle Sisters. I don't want to go like hard into Battle Sisters right now because I am assuming that while also a lot of people are dropping Battle Sisters for the moment, it's only for the moment and there should be some big fixes come March, which may just be basic reversals of everything they did before or slight tweaks. I'm pretty sure they're going to say, yeah, we did Sisters too bad. Because it's like, hey, Battle Sister, we've got to have a talk. So you're doing like perfectly fine. That's great. But the boss's son over there in the blue, they're not doing as good. So we need to stop you doing so great. We're going to take you out back for a bit and just lower your grades so that the blue kid can do better. That's kind of what's happened. You can only have one Imperial Power Armored faction doing well, and that has to be the Space Marines. More specifically, the Ultramarines, who are doing absurdly good. So I'm wondering if, like, there'll be a change as well to say, okay, we're going to add Ultramarines to that list of chapter-compliant things. Maybe, maybe not. You love the idea that Ferrus Manus could be leading the Legion of the Damned. That could be the case. Are we not live? I'm suddenly wondering if we've dropped... No, are we still up? No, we seem to be still up. Okay, no, it's just my stream that suddenly disappeared. Because I watch myself just to make sure everything's fine on the stream. Yes, it's only mine that's dropped. Okay, it's fine. It dropped a few frames. We're good. You're still up? We're still up. We're good. Okay, let's keep going. Yes, okay, so Ferrus Manus has appeared in the Horus Heresy novels as like a ghost, carrying on like, okay, let me give you some advice on this. Hey, let's do this or that. And he has been cloned several times, well, many, many times by Fulgrim, who is becoming even more weird and snaky and keeps trying to convince clone Ferrus Manus to turn to chaos. But he never does, and this makes Fulgrim more and more annoyed. So, I don't know which one of the mean girls Ferrus Manus would be. Obviously not the lead mean girl. Yeah. He's the mean, angry men girl that always repeats what the main one says, so you think they're shallow, but they walk away. He wants to say something that really hurts, because he wants to chime in. Ooh. Yeah, okay. I'm satisfied we've got there with Ferrus Manus. We know Ferrus Manus is a person. Poll time. Manus. Smashus. Or Passus. Button. Click the right button. That's not the right button. There we go. That's the right button. Pressing all the wrong buttons. Okay, we're going... Oh, that's a very big pass. Even bigger pass rejection rate than the, like, evil Primarchs? The ones that joined Chaos? Or people are like, it's a bit of chaos. Yeah, they're evil. Did a whole civil war. That's not that bad. Ferrus Manus being a bit bitchy and carrying on with Fulgrim, people are like, nope, hardest pass. For me, I think it's the loathing combined with the self-loathing. I mean, Konrad Curze would have weird political views that they would tell you about all of the time. Ferrus Manus would be like, yeah, not that great. A slightly rude man is the biggest turn-off. Do you want men to be, like, aggressively, overtly, incredibly rude? Is that just better and funny? That's my humor. Okay, I never know what getting cooked means or leaving someone to cook. Is getting cooked bad, but leaving someone to cook means shut up for a minute and let them finish because they're onto something? I think that's how it works. People in the comments will tell me the youth lingo and what the rules are. Okay, I've got it perfectly. Good to know. I will now use these terms unabashedly in my videos. At some point it comes back around to being funny. Good. You're saying all the right things today, B. Right, we're gonna pass. A very hard pass on Ferrus Manus. An iron-fisted pass. That was the 10th Legion. Oh yeah, okay. So there is no 11th Legion. That's where, yeah, we just have a blank. So there might be a Primarch, but there probably isn't. But if they want to go, hey, here's another Primarch. Oh, look at that. It's actually Ferrus Manus inhabiting the body of this random Primarch. Oh, no. No, don't do that. Let the ones that are dead stay dead, because there's very few things that are canon in 40k. At least let the deaths of Primarchs stick. Right, so 11th Legion. Sorry, this profile is either private or doesn't exist, but there are plenty more people to check out. We will now discover new people. Okay. Thinking of aggression. Angron. Pure anger. When I looked up like some of the backstory things about Angron, which I thought I had down pretty well, but it just had an extra comment of Angron comes from the English word angry. It's like, great job. That I needed to know that as part of the lore. I wondered where that would come from. Some lost demigod in the Emperor's prison. We're getting so far into the weird iceberg level of stuff that at this point it was maybe one throwaway comment that is not canon anymore. Okay. No. Not to now hear me out. No, this is going to be crazy. I will not let you cook. Angron. Gladiator is my favorite film. Yep. Get behind that. Obviously the first one with Russell Crowe, not the second one, which came out recently, which has apparently been in production or like planned since about 2002? Only recently came out. It is basically a homage to the Gladiator, at which point you just go and watch Gladiator, it's better. Angron, can't do DIY. I never know where to put the nails. Works at a local butcher's. Going through anger management, but my next session is 8 weeks away. Are people getting the puns? You have to use the laugh emoji if you're getting all the puns. You can be my world. Nom. Because world eaters. I don't know if I need to expressly say some of these jokes. No, these are good. No booing. So he's going to keep leaving unannounced, being very angry. And then he comes back 8 days later, 8 days, 8 hours, 8 minutes later. Like, he's timed it perfectly. And he's like, you should have forgiven me by now. So I'm back. Or I have decided that after you were annoyed at the weird things I said, that I have forgiven you for being annoyed. Like, wow, thanks, Angron. Very fancy hair. Well, alright, because the hair is meant to represent the butcher's nails. I get it. Oh yeah, we all like Latara Sarian much better than Angron. But she's so very much the opposite of Angron. She's calm, level-headed, and does not care that superhuman space marines are walking around her ship. She knows she has firepower. Recently announced on Games Workshop's community that, oh yeah, there's going to be models, and I think she gets bonuses in... Well, it's only for 30k, not 40k. She is like a demon creature attached to the ship in 40k. But she gets bonuses when you play the Mortalis thing, which is like the underground ship-based thing. You got tunnels. Big compact area. Yeah. Angron doesn't fit. Angron gets you into the room with Latara. Tempting. Don't want to smash Angron just for that. That sounds kind of creepy and manipulative. Pretty sure Angron will also have a blood kink. We know they do a self-harm thing, because when they were fighting in the arena, their whole thing with the gladiators on his planet were you would cut yourself before the fight, and if you then won the fight, you let the wound heal. If you lost the fight and didn't die, then you would rub dirt into it so that the wound would go black and scar horribly. And Angron always had like this pure white belt of scars. Ooh, yeah, Angron would be like not happy with anyone going near Latara. Very protective. Gladiator pit date. It's just wrestling and fighting, and then he wins and he's like, you're pathetic, I should kill you. Angron has been manipulated a lot, is very angry and takes out with anger. Maybe there's no excuse for that. Maybe it's like, it's never really justified. It's just violence at this point. We need to be supportive for him. However, he continues to make bad choices and just chooses violence as a, I don't want to deal with this right now. When he got the Legion and was denied his like great revenge leading his slave revolt, then he just spent a bunch of time killing a bunch of people who came in trying to convince him to be nice. Until Khan went in and was like, okay, Khan, you and me kinda mesh. But I'm still going to choose violence. I don't think there's anything else on Angron. Just violence is his thing. He turned the best Legion to one of the worst? Ooh, maybe. They were an okay Legion. They were still very bloodthirsty. I would say that what happened to like the Raven Guard was where they got better because of the Primarch. They used to do terror tactics like the Night Lords. Then they were turned around by Corax and like, actually, we'll do it a bit better. You're willing to swing for it being poly with Latara. It could work. I don't know, maybe they just have like more of a respectful working relationship between Angron and Latara. And it's not going to be as good if you're both with the same person. If they're both doing you. Yeah, he feels too jealous and angry. And remember that the World Eaters were not considered the best Legion. Khorne's first choice, as was ours, was Sanguinius. That's who they wanted to be on their side as their perfect Khorne-related blood Legion. Instead, Angron was like the consolation prize. Still unsure how Angron's hair works, if he has any. It's like a... Probably not. It's probably bald, and then it's just the butcher's nails. Yeah, if you're going for the poly relationship, not because you like Angron at all, you just like Latara, it is a bit, manipulative. Okay. I'll just comment for Josh, who was watching it a bit earlier. Batman does... It depends on the version of Batman. He spends some money making the city a better place. I think a lot of people have seen the Nolan films and be like, that's a default, he's just a rich idiot. Because that's what he portrays, while he then explains why he's always tired during the day. Not because he's been up fighting crime. No, not that. Yeah, if you're going to be in a poly relationship, you want it to be very open and honest, because that's the whole thing. Poly relationships are like, the love triangles from teen romance novels. They are so easily fixed by poly relationships. Like, do I want this hot vampire guy or this smelly werewolf guy that I'm also into for some reason? Why not both? They're friends or could be friends. They don't need to fight. But let them fight. Let them fight. And that's how Twilight was written. Or not written. Or could be fixed. No, you couldn't fix Twilight with just that. It's been 12 years. No. 13 years? No. 15, 16, 17 years since Twilight came out? Trying to remember. That's too long. I don't need to be riffing on a book that old. I think everyone knows Twilight, the book series, though. Alright. I think we're ready for Angron. In which case, we're not ready for Angron. Angron, are we going to smash or pass? I have made up my mind. But what do you think, chat? You get to comment, because this is a live stream. Not just you leaving a comment at the end being like, smash for the following, pass for the following. No, that's too high for smash. What are you doing? 2/3 of you for smash. Okay, whew. The sensible people came in. Okay, we're good. We're good. He needs love, but not from me. Yeah, I can get behind that. I can get behind that. Oh, right, it was a misclick. Yeah. He's gonna take your bones. He's also gonna eat you. Whether that's in a kinky way or not is up to you. But he's a world eater. We're going mostly with pass. You make me wish some people didn't have the right to vote. Ooh. Okay, we're just over 2/3. Passion is very high. Yeah, the icon fixing brigade is right here. He just needs some love, then he wouldn't be so violent. Oh, dear me, no. Darlings, no. I would be honored to be a skull on his belt. Yeah, it's not full-on demon Angron that's angry all the time. He has moments of lucidity. Those moments are not the norm. Okay, you're all very good at blood-related puns. I can't fix him and want to live. That's a better option. Go with that. Listen to Cube just this one time. Okay, they were the 12th Legion. Yes, so 13th Legion, Roboute Guilliman. Yeah, he was only Khan with the Torah, occasionally Khan, but Khan would like make him worse. Definitely worse. He'd like enabling it, and Khan would enable his rage. So, what we're saying for Guilliman. No, I've gone with, I was seeing this other girl, but it was a one-time thing. So we're not gonna get that. Loves his mom? Maybe. So, Roboute Guilliman, or Roboute Guilliman. I finished his novel, but I'm not 100% happy with it. Might need to keep revising it. So may need some help with revising it. 13 is only unlucky for some. 13th Legion. Basic, bitch, and proud. People need to put that on their profile if they're going to be basic. They're like, I'm happy being like this. More tea. The Imperium's best-selling author. Surely that's the person that did the Imperial Infantryman's Uplifting Primer. So, when it came to the Codex Astartes, he was not totally happy with the Codex Astartes. He was like, these are guidelines more than actual rules. And then they've had to try and fix it with the canon of saying, okay, we're going to split up the legions into chapters. Because they're in chapters, we need a more like generic, generalist, rather than specialist unit. So we have the tactical squad. And we know that tactical squads are still there, and people keep thinking, like in their mind, tactical squads are in Legends, and they're not. They're still there. You can take a tournament's worth of tactical marines, and that may be okay. That could work. Hordes of space marines are good. Ask the Black Templars. So, Roboute Guilliman wasn't totally happy with the Codex Astartes, and yeah, then they've had to try and square it with the law, so he's like, okay, we're back. And we're actually going to do Legion units, so I want a squad with entirely bolters, nothing else. A squad with entirely plasma, nothing else. A squad with entirely flamers, nothing else. And a squad with entirely missile launchers. I'm glad Leandros choked. That's good for him. That man maybe gets a bit too much hate, but some hate is deserved. So bland in both the relationship and in bed. Ooh, maybe. I mean, Manius Calgar is similar to him, like so similar, to the point where it's almost like the Primarchs were never meant to come back, and you just had one person to represent the leading of that chapter. So that's where you have Manius Calgar. It's where you have Lucius the Eternal for the Emperor's Children. Oh, look at that! It's Khan the Betrayer, the perfect example of a World Eater. Pure violence. That's how it should have been in the 41st millennium. You have Abaddon, who is not Horus, but is a good stand-in to be like, okay, the time of the gods is over, this is the time of the little men. You reckon that Roboute would be a cool girlfriend and also help you with the taxes? Oh yeah, we're coming up to taxes again. I'm gonna have to do taxes. And, it doesn't take as long as I'd think, because I have been keeping bits of like, these are my expenses, these are very high expenses. Oh, these are monies, I like the monies. Some of it will be paid in tax. I am okay with paying tax. Rich people don't pay enough tax, so I'm gonna pay tax instead. I'm a very poor person, but I'm still gonna pay tax. Yeah, we're gonna have the taxes time. He has a cool girlfriend. Don't know, she's been very sidelined in the lore. The last time she was relevant was the end of 7th edition, start of 8th edition. That was 2 editions ago. Someone subscribed. Welcome to the channel. Someone else subscribed. Welcome to the channel. Maybe we do need to have a whole poly thing of like, you're joining his polyamory group with him and Yvrain. I don't know. Don't know about that. Yvrain is now in what is described by Games Workshop as this weird offshoot cult that barely anyone is in. Some Dark Eldar have gone off it and gone back to Comrag. Like, okay. Yeah, they could never really be their own thing. They were just like destined to be one detachment, combining the two. And now they're even more restrictive on the kind of units you can take, which they could have just been anyway, like Final Day, like Brood Brothers Auxilia, say, hey, these are the units you can take, and that's it. But, Ooh, good luck with your Valentines. Have fun. Maybe we do need... I mean, I think he would be alright. I'm not saying, yeah, let's settle. You're never just settling. This is a perfectly good person to settle with. If you were like, okay, it's Angron and I haven't fixed him, not going to be fixing him, that's maybe where you're settling. You've got a bad thing and you're settling with the bad thing. Oh, you can't even take Harlequins anymore? Ah. Oh, right, not as proper Ynnari, just as allies. I see. The Harlequins were a little bit sidelined, but they do have the cool detachment with the Dark Eldar. That is fun. That is fun. Okay. I think Roboute would be okay. Let's see what you think. If you're like, nope, my life has to be incredibly exciting, only the most extreme people, as we have on this roster, or nothing. Smashing or passing? Roboute Guilliman. I would be willing. I mean, be willing. I know it's very basic, but it's good. Ultramarines are ultra. Like unseasoned rice. Like, rice is fine. Vanilla is the most popular kind of ice cream. It's not actual vanilla, it's vanilla flavored, which maybe makes it more vanilla. Vanilla is good. I mean, when you think of like the successor chapters of the Ultramarines, they have the weird stuff going on, so you can go with that. You can go that. If you're willing to vote smash on Angron, you can't vote pass on Roboute. Very fair. Would have even gone as far as marry. No, we're not quite in Sanguinius territory. But it's good. I can generally be okay with the Ultramarines. They are given too much attention, and a lot of people remember the Matt Ward Codex from 5th edition, which was like, oh, you know, actually, people just worship the Ultramarines generally. Yeah, Chapter Master of the Ultramarines, oh, mad respect from like the Imperial Fist. They treat them as their own. Yeah, everyone's like so into the Ultramarines. Okay, chill. Chill, Matt Ward. Go kill some Battle Sisters. Oh. Balance the pole is what girly man would want. No. You want the Primarchs to have daddy issues. I don't know if Guilliman does. Guilliman was like, no, I'm happy to set up my own Imperium. I'm assuming the Emperor's dead. But also had the 4 Primarchs he totally trusted. And I think one of them was himself. Then it was Ferrus Manus. Leman Russ, and Sanguinius, I think. Those were like the big four. That he was like, whatever happens, as long as our legions are together, it's great. Which is what happened, they all ended up loyalist. Don't like how much of a tool of the Emperor in the Heresy was. Yeah, well, so was Rogal Dorn. And quite a lot of them, really. And a lot of them were like, oh, you want me to destroy Monarchia? Fine, I'll destroy Monarchia. Which he did. Like a work husband? Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. Okay, I see what you mean. Right. Not a husband that sometimes works. Someone that's like, okay, you would love to see him in the break room as good friends, like a work wife, work husband, but not in your house every day. Maybe. I respect the line a lot too, but I don't remember him being one of the four. Because he was like, yeah, they don't get on perfectly, which is why when we have the 30k to 40k, and they're both there together, they're like, actually, we're going to stay on opposite sides of the galaxy. Roboute is regent of the main Imperium, and it was Dante. Now I think it's Lionel Johnson in charge of the Imperium Nihilus. Angron's who you'd want in your 20s, Guilliman's who you want in your 30s. That's fair. People get more sensible in their 30s. And not crazy stuff. Oh, he had a real dad, like the dad that raised him. Yeah, I think that's fair calling that guy his real dad. I don't like this whole thing of like, oh, it's a stepdad, so you say stepdad even though they've raised you from birth. No, that's your dad. That's full on your dad. Then there's also your bio dad somewhere. Is the four-armed Emperor going to be an option? I didn't include the Emperor in any form in this. It's just the Primarchs. I didn't want to do the daddy of the daddies. Wish Roboute and the line would meet already in the lore? Yeah, they're sending text messages to each other. That's about it. And Guilliman is very sad at like, wow. 41st millennium. Damn, things be crazy back here. Okay, we're pretty set on Guilliman. We know where we stand on Guilliman. Let's move to Mortarion. The 14th Legion. Yeah, they're doing a long distance thing. So with Mortarion, it's respect my choice not to bathe. Don't tell me you've had a hard life. You haven't. You know nothing. Hates Halloween and all the nonsense of magic and that. They have a cough, but don't worry about it. We're going with past. That's a really cool artwork for the female version. I like that. Close-minded and stinky? Maybe. He really didn't want his legion to become, like, corrupted. But he saw the only way forward for his legion to still exist was to die. Well, not die, to become corrupted. And he went with that. Yeah, the true toxic personality. Was always like, I don't know about tier 1 man-child, but definitely overlooked and has that, like, younger sibling not feeling as good as the others kind of energy. Bit too much grunge. Yeah, the ones that had a real parent were mostly more well-adjusted. Yep, that works. It's almost like having parents who care about you and look after you. Having someone, some adult in your life who will look after you early in your life is really important to forming the person you become. Maybe Konrad was right to kill all of those orphans. No, he's not. Bad breath is okay, but no brushing at all is bad. Now, would Mortarion be a mask on or mask off person? They're clearly wearing a mask, but also they want to spread disease, which gets easier with the mask off. We seem to be going with Mortarion's a bad one overall. Maybe they're into cool music. Maybe they have a bug collection you could bond over. They like farming and have a scythe. You have to do it the old-fashioned way. They have hood energy. Bad writing with the Emperor that run their entire character. Yeah, okay, they do have a bad time. I'm trying to think of any of them that had a bad time with the Emperor and are still loyalists. I know Rogal Dorn has the whole, whatever you say, Dad, anything you say, Dad, I'll do it. Mortarion's mask somehow increases the amount of disease. Yeah. Wear it on their chin. I see. Likes gardens, yeah. They do gardening. Oh, I should have put that in. Oh, that's such a good joke. I missed that one. They like gardening. Okay. We've all noted that they're keen on gardening. But would they just want to be left alone in their garden? And we can leave them alone. Cultivate cheese, definitely. They would definitely make cheese. Alright, I think... Unless I can think of anything else in my notes. No, nothing extra for them. So, I reckon we're... Low maintenance? Maybe. Maybe. Oh yeah, definitely 2000s rave. Or maybe as far as like 2010, around then. And if you have like the neon paint, which is I think what the artist is going for the female version. Maggoty cheese, maggoty bread, and like, oh, there's your extra protein in your biscuits. Ooh, not so good, not so good. Alright, we'll do a vote on Mortarion. Start poll. Morty. Will you be the Rick to this Morty? They're not in a romantic relationship together, forget that. But now I can only think of him with like the whiny voice. Like, whoa, why do you get to have this world killer, Horus? Why can't I have the world killer for once? You be the rigger to my Mortis. Now, Mort is good in like the Death world, Disc world with Death. That's a good Mort. That's a good Scythe character. We all like Death there. Mortarion here is like just not even as edgy as Konrad and as the one that loves all the poetry involving the ravens. Plays Magic the Gathering. Do you reckon they'd be a toxic player? I mean, Magic the Gathering can have more stuff. I was at a tournament last weekend and there was also a Magic tournament going on at the same time. They had a lot of things of like, here's all the things that are cheating. This is cheating. If you do this, it's cheating. You'll be kicked out. This is cheating. If you mix up your deck, that's cheating. It's like, okay, yeah, you're expecting the Magic players to cheat a lot, aren't you? New highest pass rate. Yeah. No one wants Mortarion. Even if there were Death Guard players, I think they would still be like, okay as a model, but we're going to pass. That's what I think it'd be like. Do people still play Typhus? Maybe they do. Need a hazmat suit on all the time. You would need to be constantly showering, and then the shower would be filthy because they went in there to not brush their teeth, but to look at their self in the mirror and be like, oh, I look terrible. Perfect. I'm going to go out now. Next one, we're on Magnus. 15th Legion. So, Magnus, you reckon we're at maximum smashing for now? Ooh, there's like 5 left. Maybe there's more. There could be more. Remember who's to come. So with Magnus, I don't do small talk. Just doesn't do small talk at all. Which tends to mean on profiles, you are going to be doing all of the talking. And they will go, yes, uh-huh. Next, people are doing easy smash. Oh my. But Magnus needs someone on their intellectual level if they even exist. I have my eye on you, love heart. Cyclops. Laugh emoji is available for you all, just so you know. As well as, if you are a member of the channel, you also get the Laughing Von Carmian emoji to use. I will click the Laughing Von Carmian emoji. That's not the right button for the emoji. Laughing. We are laughing. There we are. His favourite movie is the Brendan Fraser, The Mummy. I think that would be a bit too lowbrow for him. He'd be like, look at all the things they got wrong. That might be it. So, Magnus is also very much not a dog person. Not a cat person. A little bit of cat person because of Egypt, but definitely not a dog person. You've made more irresponsible decisions. Reading is their only hobby. Maybe writing as well, but we know that Guilliman does the writing. Magnus does the reading. Egyptophile, so they love all of the stuff related to Egypt, the look of Egypt, the clothes of ancient Egypt, the mummy puns. And they need a team member for the pub quiz, but just to make up the numbers because I, Magnus, get nothing wrong. So there's your Magnus did nothing wrong joke. The quota has been hit. Ring the bell. The Magnus did nothing wrong quota has been reached. Terrible listener. He keeps making the same mistake over and over again. Like, I need to fix my legion. Okay, that didn't work. I need to fix my legion. Let's do the same thing again and see if we get different results. But we'll do it slightly different. It just gets worse and worse for the Thousand Suns. Oh yeah, there's, what, 100,000 of them? Nope. Now there's 1,000 of them. Okay, got to 10,000. Nope, we're back to 1,000. And I assume now they're on something like 999. For reasons, of course. But then they really just need to replace the Psychers that run it. Otherwise, they just keep going with the whole, yeah, it's a bunch of dust in a suit of armor. They are still really boring to fight against on Space Marine 2. Smashing armor isn't as fun as tearing apart a Tyrannid. And I know the designers knew this because they mentioned it like, okay, it was a problem in like the first game where you fought orcs and that was great. And then you fought chaos and it kind of was a step down. So we didn't want to do that again. And then they did exactly the same thing again where actually all along secretly chaos was the real threat. Could have gone with Necrons. They shoot a bit more, it's a bit different compared to the combat. You get into a horde of Necron warriors, they try and swing their scythes at you. That would have been great. That would have been so much better. I can't see them adding Necrons to Space Marine 2. Maybe in Space Marine 3. I think it got a lot of money for them, so they'll do another one. Oh, if he has one of the smallest groups... No, I think the Raven Guard are the smallest legion. And also, you know, now they're a chapter, there's even fewer of them. Well, there was even fewer of them. It hasn't gone great for them. Magnus is the second smallest legion. So does that mean more time for you? I don't know about that. I don't know. Yeah, he wouldn't learn for his mistakes, but also think he's the smartest person. He'd be like, what? Consequences to my actions? Where did they come from? You could enjoy some, like, I don't think you could enjoy... No, you couldn't enjoy things like Time Team or Mary Beard talking through Egypt because he'd be like, well, that was oversimplified. Well, that wasn't true. Well, that isn't correct because according to most sources, it's not the case. I don't think he'd be willing to have this, yeah, based on the limited evidence we have, it could go either way. It's more, no, that's going to be wrong. And he wouldn't be able to enjoy the historical and archaeological documentaries. When I got into like history and ancient history proper, like at university level, I went back and looked at the Horrible Histories books. I never watched the show. I know the show is very good. I like the cast of the show when they're in Ghosts. It's worth watching the BBC Ghosts. Great fun. But when I went to read the Horrible History books again, I was like, I enjoyed these a lot as a kid. And now it's like, oh, wow, you've taken massive leaps with the sources. That's not true at all. No, oh, I see. You went with the weird one, so you went with Suetonius on that, not Tacitus. Uh-huh. Great. But counterpoint, the nipple horns. That's a counterpoint. Do you like the nipple horns? That is some extra accessories. It's the best plan. It's not the best plan. Please stop. It is not the best plan at all. Loves LSD. The drug? Maybe. Yeah, I can see that. Because then you're like tripping within the war. I get it. It's the yeah. Yeah, he would hate all the historical inaccuracies. So Enemy at the Gate. I did a video which was like riffing on Enemy at the Gate with the Vindicare Assassin and the Sanctus for the Genestealer cult. I think it still holds up. There are so many historical inaccuracies in Enemy at the Gate. So many. Yet it is informed like so much of pop culture around how Russia worked in the Second World War. Even at that time when they'd gotten rid of so much. It's like, what's this? Oh, it's some Stukas coming. You bet they're playing the Horns of Jericho. They didn't do that after like 1940 when they lost the Battle of Britain. We're like, oh, the British have learned that when we do the loud siren noise, the trumpets of Jericho. It's the trumpets of Jericho. Yeah, when we do the loud siren noise, their AA guns turn on. So maybe we shouldn't have these anymore. They're less scary. You'd yearn for him info dumping while we sit on a pyramid. You'd get things wrong just to hear him correct you. Oh, Dragon Slayer, that's so nice. I think he would probably... Would he run a YouTube channel where he's like, okay, here's how the rules actually work? He would be taking my job. No, I'm more of a, here's why the rules don't work. Here's how you can have fun with the rules anyway. You can't balance 40k. There's no way to balance 40k. We've been trying for 30 years. Well, trying for 20 years at least. Maybe 25 to balance 40k. As soon as there's points and things, and it's not a roleplay game, then it's like, okay, no chance of doing it. Listening to people nerd out is fun, I know. I do have some nerd out videos planned. I do have a lot of videos planned. I'm trying to get through them relatively quickly. I'm wondering if it'll have to get to the point where I'm like, okay, in the background we're going to have some visual thing of like me playing a game with a vampire, gotta be with a vampire, while I talk about 40k. Not to do like the Subway Surfer thing, which seems kind of... It's like, oh, okay, I'm talking through stuff, but you're watching the person on the train. If it gets a video out quicker, maybe... Or I would have to play the game and record it. Northern Exile doesn't balance it, just make them all have a broken gimmick and have fun. Yeah, you could do that. I mean, that was like older Age of Sigmar. Everything is stupid crazy, but because everything is stupid crazy, it's balanced to a degree. Current 40k is, let's make it easy for tournament players and new players to come in, and then, yeah, you can't break it too much. It is one of the more balanced editions. I know people have also said it's the more bland editions because unlike, say, 9th edition, you can't make your own legion or chapter and things, which led to very different metas though. When I talked to Proxy Hammer in a video, I was like, oh yeah, I know the Eldar meta. It's all Eandon, it's all full-on Wraiths. And he was like, what? No. Everyone makes their own thing that's really fast and has loads of jet bikes. So, that's it. Yeah, drafts and chess are indeed balanced. I briefly got into Martian chess, like, temporarily, for a few days. Martian chess is weird. You have two sides of the board. Any piece on your side of the board is your piece. So if you take an enemy's piece on their side, that becomes their piece. So it's an interesting way to play it. I suggest looking at Martian chess. It has its own board as well, but there's just queens, drones, and pawns. It's an interesting way. Like, you can think about it a bit. Then you get points based on who took the most pieces, but the game ends when one person has nothing on their side of the board. So you want to go over to the enemy's side, take their things, then you give them pieces so they can come back and hurt you more. It's a cool balancing mechanic. It's an interesting way to play. But yeah, it's symmetrical. 40k is deliberately not symmetrical, so you can get cool stories out of it, which is what we want. Which is why Crusade, we should play Crusade. I'm going to do a Crusade video next, so I'm not sorry, because there are cool things in the new Crusade book that you should be applying to your regular 40k games that make it more fun and different and interesting. If you're playing more than like once a month, you'll want to pick some of these up to get into it. Alright, we'll talk about Magnus again. Magnus talks about himself enough, but doesn't do small talk. Would Magnus eventually get bored of you once you're not learning enough? Would he be like, okay, I'm gonna train you to learn things? It's like, no, I've explained this before. How could you get it wrong a second time? Then it's less fun. Right, we'll do the poll. I'll let you decide if we're going to do a smash or a pass. Magnus of the Thousand Suns. Are we smashing? Not in the Space Wolf way, because they did come and smash his planet. Or are we passing? Smash is high. We've got a high smash rate right now. Ooh, it's lowering. It's going back to average. This is very tense. Don't think he's that impatient. Oh, yeah, okay. Compared to, like, many of his other brothers, he is not... No, don't disconnect. Okay, it says reconnection successful. Good. Ross did blow his back out. Oh, no. Oh no. Right, let me know if we dropped or if we're back. because it said disconnecting and reconnecting, so it may be able to maintain the signal or not. Has it actually dropped? We're back. We're back. Okay, good. I'm going to move on to the next slide. Because we're going to go with... Ooh, a narrowly pass. Narrowly pass on Magnus. Alright. Next one. I don't know why the text came in slow for that one. But we have got the text coming in slow. Horus Lupercal. I might give it a second just to let the buffering get through. Because we are still connected as far as OBS is concerned. It says it's happy. Yeah, it's technically a bit spotty. It might just be lowers the bandwidth for a bit. Tell you what. Do a 2-minute tea break, and by the time... I was muted the whole time I was talking then, wasn't I? Okay, we're back. It's kind of working. It should be fixed now. Yeah, I'd muted my mic. Everyone does it. It happens all the time. Okay, we're fixed. We're back. We have Horus Lupercal on screen. So what do we know about Horus? Horus's profile says, I aspire to be my own boss. Told I have eldest child energy. Has daddy issues. Hopes to visit Rome. Will you join me? And is the real alpha wolf. So that's where started a civil war. Is the eldest child because they were the first one to be found by the Emperor and had been like communicating psychically for like the whole time. As had Magnus. But that's a whole different thing. Daddy issues of like, why would my dad say one lie to me and tell me there's no gods? Why are there gods? Everything is wrong. Yeah, Horus was like the best of them, sort of, maybe, but the worst of them? Yeah, that man is sniffing a cable. You have to as Horus, it's his whole thing. And Abaddon's whole thing. They were very much one after the other because there was never meant to be a Horus in 40k, which there isn't because he's dead, but it's like, yep, look at this, he's like Horus 2, but he doesn't go with any of the gods because at that point they were like, okay, we're going to do a crossover of like Warhammer and 40k are basically the same, so if a storyline works in one, we put it into the other. So Abaddon is loved by all the gods, but isn't dedicated to any of them and doesn't like trust them. Heart sniffer cable, no. Then in Warhammer Fantasy, you had Archaon, who is beloved by all the gods, and also hates them, and doesn't like them or trust them, and doesn't want to be dedicated to any of them. That is a kind of cute girl, Horus, yeah. You can see how the heresy happened. Okay. I don't know if they're meant to be blush lines. I don't think they are. Yeah, visiting Rome is like the whole crossing the Rubicon, starting a civil war. And yeah, they're gonna say Alpha Wolf in their profile because they love the wolves. They have the wolves on their back. Their whole, like, lunar wolves. Horus is surprisingly cute. We are, of course, talking about the picture on the right, aren't we? The one that you'd like, shiny, shiny head. Got really Lex Luthor energy there. Alright, leader of the Heresy. Do you want to forget all the other Primarchs that turn traitor for him and just go for the lead traitor? Daddy issues make them hot and needy. Oh dear. Well, that is one good interpretation there, Kurashine. I'm not going to read it all out, but it's there for people if they want to see it. Yeah. Maybe reading a bit too much into the character. Is Horus just, like, not as good? Because the Chaos Gods were like, we were disappointed in Horus. Horus was not that great. Abaddon calls Horus, like, a failure to have half the galaxy, half the Space Marines, and then fail at the Imperial Palace. Like, ooh. Sons of Horus have a good paint scheme. Yeah, I don't like the green. Black Legion I like. I recently saw the Plague Marines in Black Legion colors, and they look good. Yeah. Horus. He sure did do a heresy. Okay. They indeed better HR? Maybe. Let's go with the pole already. If you like the green, we also have salamanders. That's another good green. Horus. Wolf son. And of course, he would want to go to Rome to see the cave where Romulus and Remus were brought up. So that we then had like, okay, this is, you know, the wolf child. It's all very Roman. Loves the Roman stuff, while Magnus loves the Egypt stuff. That's, yeah, you could scream about Horus. You could scream Horus's name as a Blood Angel player. Lunar Wolves were cooler. What's her name? Well, it says here we're the Sons of Horus. Or are we the Lunar Wolves? Or maybe the 16th Legion. No, we're the Black Legion. Too many problems? We're going mostly with pass. I mean, it's not the big pass. There was a lot of interesting, definitely interesting arguments for being a smash on Horus. But a pass is what we've gone for. Alright, I will accept the pass. I was unsure on them. Lorgar. Loyalists didn't want him to do a heresy. Traitors didn't like how he did the heresy. Yeah, Horus didn't want to do a heresy. I know, he was never super into it. Yeah. Okay. What have we got on Lorgar? Right. Lorgar, that's a very interesting Battle Sister style Lorgar. I can see it. With the shiny eyes. Very shiny eyes. I also have very shiny eyes. Right, Lorgar is stuck in middle management. They could never actually control the heresy. They tried to seize the heresy from Horus, but it's the Horus Heresy, not the Lorgar Heresy. So he got beaten and thrown out by Horus, and Horus was like, if I ever see you again, I will kill you. So not many word bearers were part of the final Siege of Terra, although a lot of them did go with like, you know, actually compared to you, Lorgar, I'm gonna go with Erebus and join the Black Legion. So they fought there. Not religious, but maybe she could convert you. It's like, yeah, okay, yeah, you've got the Bible school child. Magnus was 50-50, yeah. Okay, Lorgar would also be like, we need to be compatible in star signs, because he's like, oh, we don't do traditional religion. There's this other religion that must exist, the forbidden religion. So probably converted to the religion that they're in, rather than being brought up with it. Yeah, and they have their own religious beliefs as well, which are not too well liked by everyone else. They were sort of sent away to be annoying. The word bearers were like, okay, you're doing nothing good here, and we have Erebus, the real word bearer. So yeah, get sent over to the Ultramarine sector, annoy them on Calth and elsewhere. And it's like, ooh, we're doing chaos stuff. Very preachy. Very much annoying with Guilliman, yep. Deeply religious upbringing, and it is important to me. But it would be a religion they made up themselves. Definitely not real that there's Chaos Gods. They found out there's Chaos Gods, and so they're like, I'm going to be the first heretic. Yet I still don't get to lead the heresy. So they would have that, maybe not with Guilliman, but definitely with Horus, as being like, why am I the less good sibling? I don't like that. Ooh, cards for reading. Like tarot cards, you mean? Or there's fairy cards. Fairy cards are very pretty. Have pictures of fairies. The opposite of daddy issues. Expected to go to church 7 days a week. Was disappointed it was only one. Mm-hmm. I don't know about entertaining to listen to. For how long, though? Right, we'll come to Vulkan very soon. Right, got to end the Horus poll. And then we start the new poll. What do we think of Lorgar? This may be a pretty quick one. Very skinny. Very, like, smaller, one of the smaller Primarchs. Do you like a thin boy? Or do they need to have some kind of health to them? Because Lorgar is very small. Not the smallest, but relatively small. One of the smaller Primarchs. Yeah, I'm thinking maybe more astrology than religion. Less of the mainstream stuff, because it's always like, oh, it has to be a forbidden and unusual thing that makes sense in their head. Which is more the Chaos Gods. No, it's not 100% pass. Some people are like, yeah, sure, why not? Maybe because of the Battle Sister looking Lorgar. That may be what's swinging it for people. We can blame the artist for that, who is linked in the description if you want to see their work. Along with, you know, Ko-fi things if you wanted to support me with money. I am now at 100% for February money, but February money from like YouTube is way lower than especially December. Because they're willing to pay out on adverts in December. Come February, they're like, no one's buying things. We're not going to pay you stuff. Like, okay, fine. Sad, but okay. As long as you keep changing your focus for what he's talking about so he doesn't get too deep. Plungers for bald Lorgar. No. Okay, we have a pretty solid pass. No more Lorgar. Right, we move on to the one that people have been wanting. Vulkan. Are we now back? Okay, we seem to be back. Good. We'll get through them. There's only a couple left, so we are on the 18th Legion. Yes, so Vulkan likes the film Flash Gordon because Gordon's alive and Vulkan lives. You get it? You get where I'm going from here? Yeah. So that's where we have... You have to say it like Brian Bester did in the film, not the way he said it on Have I Got News For You, where he screamed, Gordon's alive! Everyone loved that. Oh, if you love Eldar, then no, because Vulkan does love squishing the Eldar and Dark Eldar. A lot of the Primarchs don't like the Dark Eldar. Leman Russ doesn't like them. Khan doesn't like them. Yeah. Female Vulkan is very hot. The red eyes are a bit much. Maybe they have their eyes... No, they can't have their eyes closed and have, like, painted their eyelids. No, I think that's just fiery redhead. So, actually is a nice guy. I don't think the Salamanders ever did any killing civilians. So he's not a nice guy. He's a genuinely nice person. He doesn't expect something after you just do basic courtesy. Not like, I was casually nice to you in a conversation. Are we going to bed now or what? I was reborn for you is a good tagline. Always coming back to life. Never killed any non-Eldar civilians. Right. Vulkan is very hot. Undeniably hot. Very sensitive. Doesn't like it when, you know, big betrayals happen. Also, really quick-witted. Hey, what's that, Konrad? You gave me my hammer, but didn't, you know, stop the teleportation aspect so I can't leave. Well, you must have forgotten that my hammer is also a hammer. And that's his teleportation hammer. Yeah. It's smithing angrily. Oh yes, also into blacksmithing. Another smith. So that's where this whole thing, making this PowerPoint, got me partially into blacksmithing. And it says you need very few tools to start blacksmithing because you make the rest of your tools as you get into blacksmithing. You need tongs? Make them. Then you can make your own rings and jewelry and maybe tiny knives. Depends on your country's laws and how much you can get the heat out there. You can start with some good oven mitts. Yes. Oh yeah, I'd definitely say sporty girl energy. Like dragon warriors. Alright, Guilliman but funny. So if we're saying yes on Guilliman, we have to say yes on Vulkan. Oh, the Khan would definitely love the really bad puns. Vulkan may also make them. They would be a good pair together. But, you know, we're the one that gets to decide. We're not getting between them. They're siblings. Doesn't work. None of that. Have we done Fulgrim yet? Yes. Understandably, Fulgrim was number 3. We're on number 18 with 2 left. They have the really sweet childhood friend energy? Is that attractive? I know some people who have now married their childhood friends, and it seems to work out, like the most stable of relationships. Because you know the family and you know them really well. Maybe blue-haired childhood friend anime girls are not the worst. But she has red hair, so it doesn't count. Pink-haired girls are the worst ones. Like Fulgrim. They're gonna stab you. This would need an I'm an elf and scared option. I see. A hug from Vulkan could fix anyone. Well, maybe he didn't hug Konrad Curze enough. Yeah, if you like Guilliman, maybe you enjoy taxes in the colour blue. Okay, we're going smash. That's a solid smash. That should pop up. There we go. Alright, next one. There we go. Corvus Corax. So their profile reads, Edgar Allan Poe's poetry is so deep. I'm a goth, not an emo. I wish I had a pet crow. Already has a pet crow because they love their beaks. Black is my favourite colour. It's a good colour. Nice contrast with silver. I painted my Black Legion with silver trim rather than gold trim because I think it just looks better. And left home to find the real me. Yeah, Corax is always going off places. When I looked more into their backstory and some of the stuff they did in like across the books, they have a very small legion, and part of that is because of battle for like Gate 42, where they suggested doing like sneaky stuff because it's sneaky and clever. And Horus was like, nope, we're going to go full frontal assault, and you're going to lead it. And I think there was some dueling then with Lionel Johnson, because Lionel Johnson does a duel. Corax lost, and so it was like, okay, I'm going to go first. I will lead. And Corax put their Terran officers in the front, so a lot of their original Terran soldiers that had been with the Legion before Corax was even found ended up dying at that big fight. And that's part of the reason that their Legion is so much smaller than the others. And it also meant that the rest of the Legion could be like, oh no, we grew up with Corax. Corax? Corvus? Corax? Yes, Corvus Corax. So we're gonna do stealthy tactics, assassination strikes, but without the whole turret tactics bit, which the Legion did love until the battle for Gate 42. Then you have the drop site massacre on Istvan 5. That doesn't go well for them. They escape. Some of them escape. A small number of them escape. And then there's a bit more fighting where it's like, I'm in this place, and nope, I need to escape. And then they escape. At least half the legionaries, loyalists, got away from that fight. And then they go and destroy the Death Guard. Homeworld. Yeah. Goth is good. Girl version is cute. Yep, I agree. I'm very happy with goths. It's a good look. This is a goth you can take home to your family. Yeah, really into workers' rights and against oppression, and not 100% kill everyone punitive justice systems. The Terrans to the front was also a way to get rid of the ones loyal to Horus. I don't think they really knew much about being loyal to Horus. I suppose they had been following Horus along, as, you know, he was not even War Master at that time, I don't think. It was just Horus leads all of the legions until their Primarch is found. Needs a cherish button. Oh. Oh, you were planning to pass on all of them, and here we have Corvus Corax. Would definitely love feeding the birds in, you know, the garden that Mortarion has. Yeah, YouTube Shorts can be a bit odd. Maybe I should make this into YouTube Shorts, just so we have one thing on each character. It's an idea. Alright, we're doing the poll. I think we know what we are. Corvus. I can spell it, I promise. It's just so weird. Bird person. It's a bird person. Smash or pass on Corvus Corax. Yeah, the secret project that was to get... Oh yeah, it was like, let's get the gene seed, or not the gene seed, corrupted gene seed, some monsters, to make more Raven Guard, because they were desperate to fix them. Some of the lore was hinting at the time that maybe that was like, yeah, we're going to use women and not fully change everything. And it went bad, but I think they've backtracked on that now that the Horus Heresy books are all out. Otherwise, yeah, female Raven Guard for a time was potentially canon, or hinted at being canon. These would make cool shorts. Yeah, I don't know whether to... I'll have to rewatch, like, my own live stream. Clip it up, maybe, or I can make new ones. It's something I should do. These would make cool shorts is also a good way to make your own clothes. We're going for Smash on Corvus. Very good. I can get behind that. That doesn't add up to 100% YouTube. They keep doing this on like some of my polls. Like this adds up to 101%. The poll we've got here adds up to 99%. Oh well, never mind. Final one. Alpharius. They're working 2 jobs in different places right now. So they'll have a day job and a night job, and they seem weirdly different. Sorry, all my photos are group pics. If all of your photos on your profile are group pics, have an arrow that points to you, then we know who you are. It's so much better. Ah, that was it. Yes, they were trying to rapidly reproduce Marines, and then the Alpha Legion messed with it. Yeah, I knew it was Alpha Legion shenanigans. It's always Alpha Legion shenanigans. I will steal your clothes and your look. That is an Alpharius thing. They will take your best hoodie, and it will become their hoodie, and they will say they always had it as their hoodie. They are the real Alpha. Oh dear. And no one knows what I'm doing. I'm so random. Lol, so random. Is Omegon part of the deal? I'm gonna say no, because I get even confused with whether Omegon is a Primarch or just like the spare bit. So Alpharius is 66% Primarch, and then there's a 33% extra. Yeah, it's a cute girl. Maybe we did want to be like, yes, part of that was I want people to know how smart I am, and he kept having officers that are like failing and doing badly at the job. It's like, oh dear, that's awkward. No, I need to be better. And then it's like, oh, I'm so much smarter than all the other legions, and we'd try and show them up and like teleport near them and before they're expecting it and being like, hey, we're visible now and we're talking to you on the Vox, and now you can't see us anymore or hear us because the conversation is over. They have a divided soul, I see. From the books I remember, it was... I mean, that was just the Horus Heresy books. Before that, in the lore, before these Heresy books came along, starting in like 2010 or earlier, definitely earlier, 2008, yeah. That's where there was just Alpharius and a lot of other people pretending to be Alpharius, including like Omegon, because there was always someone pretending to be the Primarch. Until to the point where even some of his brothers couldn't tell. Raven Guard mutants on the field would be cool. If they bring back Corvus, then they may do a similar thing to like the Wolfman, where they have weird bird demons, but they're loyalists. Yeah. I think Corax would probably have the smallest number of friends for like the smallest legion. But Alpharius is short. Like 1.5 feet taller than the average Marine, so a bit bigger than a Primarchs Marine? I mean, that's okay. They're not very trustworthy, is what I'm thinking. They won't even tell you about their family. You think they might have a twin brother, but he won't tell you that either. And, oh yeah, he'd be in a friend group where all of his mates have this one joke where they also claim to be Alpharius. It's not funny after a while. Or if there was like a twin brother, it would be like, oh, yeah, they're always pretending to be the other one. Come on. It gets old after a point. There were rules for mutated Marines in 30k, and it wasn't just like the Gore Valbach for the Word Bearers. He's worn Custodes armor before, so roughly the size of a Custodes. The 5 mats of the friend group. Yeah, like Ashley A, Ashley D, Ashley F, yeah. I don't think it's going to end well as a relationship. Is he loyal to you? Is he not? Is he manipulating? Could be. I don't think we can be playing games anymore. And I think the tragedy of the Alpha Legion isn't whether or not they're loyalist or traitor secretly, or whether half of them are half, or whether they have the Order 66 thing where they had to turn to Chaos, but not all of them did. And that's a whole other extra lore thing changed in, like, space Star Wars. And also in 40k. I think the tragedy of the Alpha Legion is it doesn't matter if they're loyalists or traitors anymore. They are working on the traitor side. They lost the Horus Heresy. Whatever plans there were to have this quick victory for Chaos to leave the ultimate victory for mankind or everyone else in the galaxy, that isn't happening. The Alpha Legion is a traitor legion. And they would probably deny ever smashing you. Legion is a really good book. I've not read all of the Horus Heresy ones just because there are so many. And some of them I just don't care about their Primarchs or their events. Fulgrim is good because that is Istvan 3 and 5. It's great. I recommend Fulgrim. Even if you don't like Fulgrim. There is a lot of Fulgrim in the book called Fulgrim if you don't like Fulgrim. But that's understandable. Oh yeah, Alpharius would definitely be like going through your phone and checking stuff and be like, who are you talking to? And are you suspicious of me? And haha, master manipulator. Yeah. Smash but pretend you passed. Very good. Very good. Let's gift some memberships. You've been good. This has been fun playing Smash or Pass. Ooh. So if you want to get a membership, click the button. There you go. There's 5 people who are now members of Von Carmian's Legion. So you are free to join the Discord. That is linked in the description, and you have a special color as long as you are a member of this tier. And as a member of this tier, you also get your name in the end credits. Whether you want to renew this at the end of the month to keep it up is up to you. Oh, and you also get access to emojis. Anyone of any membership tier can use the emojis. The emojis are good. Use some emojis. If anyone else wants to buy their own membership, they're welcome to, or you can buy group memberships for other people. Oh yeah, I put the salute emoji in. I forgot about that. That's good. Oh yeah, Alpharius would definitely be a stalker. Like, the whole time. It would be really weird. I don't think people would want that in their relationship. We're mostly going for pass. It didn't get quite 50-50 to be like, I would say it got the right number, 55% being because they are 55% traitor. Yeah, I think Alpharius would be a cheater. You couldn't trust them. Because, are they loyal? They say they are, but really? I like the split of Yandere and Kudere. Maybe. I used to like Kuderes a lot. Because of, like, Evangelion and the Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya with Nagato Yuki. More recently I've gone off them, because if I was that awkward at the time, which I was as a teenager, it would just be the two of us sitting in a room together and nothing would happen. Which is why you need more the energetic happy girls, the Genki girls, the ones that are gonna like put themselves forward and be like, hey, this is cool. Nothing is more attractive than someone saying, I am into you. There are other factors to consider, like, are they a crazy psychopath that's gonna do crazy stuff like Alpharius? No, and this isn't and so they were both bottoms. Socially awkward people rarely get together. That's what it is. Oh yeah, they would definitely break something and say, it was my brother. Or it was my sister. Okay. Right, it is 10:15 here, and that is going to be the end of the slideshow. So we can drop that. And away we go. I think attracted to being told feelings directly. Yeah. No, it's not tism. It's just, that's a good thing. It makes it unobtrusive, unironic, not awkward. It's like, oh good, you're telling me how you feel really clearly. I can now work with this instead of trying to figure out feelings later and gradually, which may not happen if you're like only meeting up every now and then. Yeah, they'd be like, oh yeah, that wasn't me in bed with that person, that was my sister. I see it. That's been fun. I've been wanting to do this Smash Up Pass. I think I've had it scheduled for 18 months and never been a time when I've got to do it. So I thought, right, it's the 14th today. I figured out yesterday morning this is the perfect time to do it. Made that multicolored PowerPoint. Yes, Auspex Tactics was a bit of an inspiration for that. And then, here we are. We've had fun. I hope this is a good rewatch. I'll see about making some shorts, either from it or separately. We'll see how we go on jokes. Jokes may not land if it's live compared to shorts. Might be a bit different. Yeah. Alright, you all have a great day of 40k. I'll see you relatively soon for another video. Bye bye, my darlings. Where's the button to end the stream? There's the stream. No, you have a great day of 40k. Oh yeah, the microphone's still on now, isn't it? Bye.